Yeah, there we go. What is going on, my pretty babies? You are checking out an all new the RCWR Show. It is our 600th episode coming at you guys for this Tuesday night of June the 19th, 2018. How the hell y'all been, man? I tell you what, I'm doing a lot better than when the week had started. I'm talking about last week, of course. And I'll dive into all of that in just a little bit here. So we are simulcasting on a couple of different platforms right now. I'm kind of hearing a little bit of echo. I'm trying to see if I can squash that. I know on YouTube, we're actually good on that respective platform. And let's see, where else are we streaming? We're also streaming on Spreaker. Where else are we streaming? I think that's, oh yeah, Mixler. I keep forgetting we're also streaming on Mixler as well. And I think I still hear an echo. I don't know where the echo is coming from. Maybe you guys can help me out. Help me oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I think I know where that echo is coming from. Did I take care of it? No, we still got an echo. Wait a minute, guys. Because otherwise, this is going to drive me completely freaking crazy. So let me see if I can figure this out. Maybe if I do this, that'll take care of the echo. And there's still an echo. You got me. You got me, guys. What a great way to kick off episode 600. We have a goddamn... Well, actually, you know what? Hang on. I think that solved it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I solved my problem. It was my end. I don't think you guys even heard that. Anyway, can we try that again? 600 episode. How about that? It's our 600th episode. Lee Sanders here. You're checking out the RCWR Show, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. And here we are, episode 600. Now, the first thing that a lot of you guys are probably going to ask me is, Lee, episode 600, what you got planned? I had a lot of cool stuff planned for episode 600 as far as special guest goes. But I tell you, I had the shittiest weekend that really was not resolved because of the problems I was having. It was not resolved until earlier today. All right. So let's get some of you guys caught up to speed. And I can't stress this enough. In between the shows, I do love interacting with a big bulk of you guys. So in between shows, if you got the Facebook and the Twitter, you really should do your best to stay connected with me in between the shows. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at the RCWR Show. I had put out a message earlier today on social media, and I basically said, well, my stubborn ass has finally caved in to my girl. She wants me to go see the doctor. I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to go see the doctor because honestly, I don't like what the hell's going on. Now, to kind of get everybody caught up to speed, basically, I got off work Friday. Felt really good. Felt fantastic physically. I mean, just great. Next thing I know, we go into maybe late Friday night, getting ready to go to bed. Knees kind of bothering me. What the hell? Wake up Saturday, and my left knee up to the beginning of my thigh is on fire. It is just hot. The slightest touch, I'm going, ouch, ouch, ouch. I mean, I can even put a sheet or a blanket over me, and as soon as it makes contact with my leg, I'm going, ouch, ouch, ouch. It was difficult to sleep on my sides because normally I sleep on my left side. So that was aggravating. And when I was getting out of the bed, moving around, my leg was very, very, very stiff. I mean, I had to basically, I didn't want to sit down because it felt like it took several minutes. And I do mean several minutes to get my leg. Okay, we're moving around again. Very odd because I'm definitely active. I'm very active. I'm always running around at work. I'm always running around in the house. I'm mainly doing stuff in the work office, but usually I'm running around in the house. Okay. I got to go upstairs all day. So I'm dealing with stairs at home. I'm dealing with stairs when I leave out the door. I'm dealing with stairs on my way to work. I'm dealing with stairs once at work and vice versa. So I couldn't quite understand what the hell was going on. And the pain just kept getting worse and worse. And my girl really freaked out over this. She's going, my God, tell me your symptoms. And I tell her my symptoms. I'm telling her how I feel. My knee is stiff. I'm telling her how, it feels like somebody maybe kicked me in the shin or something. But the thigh, the knee area, it is just on fire. And I'm having a hard time moving around. I was moving around like a 80-year-old man because of that. So she goes, well, I don't want to scare you. And it's kind of like, well, mission accomplished, because she's a nurse. She has many years experience in the medical field. She's like, well, I don't want to scare you, but a couple of things that it looks like. One, this could be a problem with regards to your diabetes. And newer listeners, probably don't know this, but I was diagnosed, longtime listeners know this. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes last year. So been taking my medicines, all that, and been doing my very best to maintain a good, healthy weight. And you're thinking, well, okay, that's one option. Yeah, it could be tied to the diabetes. Okay, what's the next option? She goes, well, the next option, you could be dealing with, honestly, maybe you just sat wrong and you sprained it. It could be a sprain. I said, well, come to think of it, when I was riding the train home on Friday, I was doing what I would normally do when I'm on the train. I cross my legs. Now, when I say cross my legs, you know how us guys, we usually cross our legs kind of like bow and arrow. We put one leg up over our knee. So usually when I'm on the train, bus, or whatever, even at my cubicle, I'm usually sitting like that and I'm reading or whatnot. And I'm going, okay, yeah, maybe it is a sprain. I'm going, yeah, at one point I do remember my knee was kind of feeling a little bit awkward because of the way I was sitting. I kind of felt like I didn't have enough room. Okay, but yeah, maybe that's an option. So what's the third option? She goes, the third option, and I really don't mean to freak you out, but you're gonna, so go ahead. Well, the third option, it could be a blood clot. And I'm going, oh, that's just lovely. So we try to do it day by day. I try to act a little bit stubborn because I wasn't trying to go to the doctor. I don't like going to doctors, just period. Medical, even if it has to do with my health, I'm trying to be a lot more flexible because I'm getting older. But I really, if you ask me straight up, I mean, who does, honestly? I think that's a very, when you think about that, I'm like, who does really? Because they always, for the most part, they give you bad news. You go in for one thing and then you come out going, good God Almighty, for the most part. But hey, whatever. So she goes, look, see how you feel Monday. And if things aren't looking good for you on Monday, then we need to take you to the doctor. I said, okay, yeah, sure. I BS you not. So get up at my usual time for work, get ready, was a bitch moving around. Just when I thought I was making some type of progress, and mind you, I was sleeping a lot more this weekend. So walk out the door, and it was a bitch walking. A bitch walking. I mean, I was grinding my teeth going, so I had to turn right back around. Told my boss what was going on. She's like, oh my God, honey, what the hell did you do? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And called my physician, my primary. My primary was not available to see me today. And I tell my girl, she's like, no. You need to be seen today, because if it's more than a sprain, we need to take care of this in a timely manner. I'm like, okay, all right. So luckily we were able to see a non-PCP, and she was a sweetheart. She checked out my legs, everything. And she's like, honestly, it sounds like, you had something inflammatory. You had something, go down. You probably sprained it without realizing it based on the symptoms. What are you taking? And we're like, oh, we're taking an ice pack. I've taken a couple of Advils, a little bit of IB Pro. I always get the name mixed up. I always say ibuprofen. like ibuprofen, and my girl's always correcting me. That's not how you say it. It's ibuprofen, whatever the hell she calls it the correct name. I've always been calling it ibuprofen. But anyway, so the doctor was like, no, we're gonna go in ahead, we're gonna give you a stronger dosage of, you know, what you're taking right now that's over the counter, and you should definitely be feeling the effects of it within minutes, but you got to eat it with a meal. And I'm going to give you 20 tablets, and take it consecutively for the first couple of days, but don't take it just to finish out what you have. You know, take it, and then once you realize you're feeling on point, stop taking it. But definitely for the next 4 or 5 days, take it. I said, all right, cool. So on a good note, took the drugs. I feel a lot better. Still very stiff. So I'm not going to work tomorrow. Instead, I'm just going to be doing a lot of cardio stuff. I mean, I get in a little bit of cardio here and there, but I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit more cardio, and really try to, you know, re-strengthen my legs, get them up to par. Also, while I was there, they were like, oh, Mr. Sanders, by the way, we see that it's now time for you to get your A1C done. We need to know what's going on with you. If you need to continue taking your metformin medicine or whatnot, we need to check your blood sugar levels. So while I was there, I had to give them a urine sample. I have to give them some more blood. So I'll be knowing the results on what's going on with my diabetes status in a couple of days. So, you know, knock on wood, keep the fingers crossed. Maybe I beat it. You know, I have been eating a lot smarter. We'll see. But I do appreciate those of you that had took the time out to say, hey, man, you know, you're definitely in my prayers. Hopefully everything goes all right with you. But I tell you, scary, just scary fucking shit that was going down. So honestly, I was really looking forward to having special guests on the show. But because of what was going on with my leg, it was like, and the people I did reach out to, I had to go back and tell them, look, I don't know what's going on with my health. You know, I'm taking this day by day. You know, maybe we can try something for next week or in a couple of weeks from now. Let's see. And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. Totally understand. So I would say probably in the first 10 episodes, in the first 10 weeks, basically leading up to episode 610, we're probably going to be having some guests that's going to be stopping by the show. It's going to be good. I promise you. There's definitely some guests that we got lined up, and some more goodies that's in store in the coming weeks. So do stay tuned for that. That should be good. Other than that, weekend, pretty decent. Otherwise, came and went as far as I was concerned. So I do appreciate you guys that took the time out to check out the WWE Money in the Bank after show that we did for you guys over the weekend. We actually had hit you guys up with a 1-2 punch. Not only did we have the Money in the Bank after show, but some of you guys may have missed it. There actually was. It streamed live for about a little over an hour on Spreaker and on Mixlr. There was an NXT after show that I did. And I did Mixlr. You know, I got to tell you guys, heads up, we're going to be kind of utilizing Mixlr a lot more, because I've had so many colleagues say to me, Lee, that's great you got your show on these other platforms, but Mixlr, you should really incorporate Mixlr as well. I'm like, but Mixlr, you know, it's like, no, you know, look at the numbers we're getting. Look. I've had some friends show me the analytics, and they're like, you got to try Mixlr. You know, just stay with it. You got to try it. You got to pay a little bit, but you got to be patient. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So I restarted the Mixlr account. And like I said, we had the NXT TakeOver Chicago event after show air on Mixlr, and it aired on Spreaker. Now, for those of you that's going, that's great, I want to check it out. Well, sadly, you know, after the stream was over, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to make this a Patreon exclusive, because I love my Patreon members. And so that is now exclusively a Patreon exclusive. So if you want to know what I thought about the NXT TakeOver event, you definitely need to go check out our Patreon account. You get access to bonus RCWR show content, the new 30 with Lee series, wrestling with the topics with me and the missus, all that. You get all of that great content that keeps being pumped out at you a weekly basis 5 Smackaroos. You can't beat that. I must say, you can't beat that. But as always, 48 hours after we get a WWE pay-per-view event, now comes, how do I feel about Money in the Bank? Do I still feel as I did when I gave my knee-jerk reactions on Sunday, or has things kind of changed a little bit at my end? And honestly, I know I had said Sunday night that it got a pass from me. I felt that overall, there probably was maybe 2 matches I could have done without. And if you guys recall, I said I've honestly could have done without Roman Reigns, Jinder Mahal. I also said I could have done without Sami Zayn taking on Bobby Lashley. Other than that, I felt that the card overall pretty good. It got a pass from me. What we didn't get to talk about was you all reactions to the pay-per-view event, because we had some technical issues over here. So for those of you that were checking us out Sunday, long story short, nothing that I did wrong at my end. Been doing the same setup for years. There was an issue with Verizon for our entire area. And honestly, it took the technician a couple of hours to come out and resolve just the issue that was happening in the area. So luckily, the audio, like when I record via Spreaker, the audio, if there's some type of a disconnect and I do not reconnect after maybe 2 minutes, the audio automatically saves. So luckily, the first, I think it was what, guys, that were with me for the Money in the Bank after show, we went live for what, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, I want to say, and then the stream had got interrupted. So that first hour and 15 minutes, Spreaker did save the audio. So luckily, I was able to go right back in, and I actually had to use my cell phone as a hotspot so that I could do the rest of the broadcast. It took me about 30 minutes to come back on, but I actually was able to come back with my phone as a hotspot, do the rest of the show. You guys ended up with, for that Money in the Bank after show, you ended up with an hour, 54 minutes, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. But I was really bummed out by that, because that after show was actually pretty fucking good. I mean, we were rolling together on that show, and it sucked that that problem had went down, because it just felt like it was going to be one of those nights where maybe we were going to open up the phone lines and see what you guys have to say and everything. But I did want to get you guys thoughts on the pay-per-view event. So I told you guys, try to comment, and if you don't feel like commenting, cast your vote. So to the polling we go now. Remember, you can always check out any type of polling results that I put up. 2 avenues: youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the communities tab. You click over there, and it's not just polls. I usually talk. I've been talking a lot more on social media, any time out of the week, multiple times out of the week. You go on the YouTube channel in the communities tab. I'm posting some random thoughts. I'm doing the same thing over on Facebook as well. So the latest poll that we have right now, asking you all, how would you rate the Money in the Bank after show? I am seeing so far we have, bear with me here, loading up. There we are. So out of 32 votes coming in so far on YouTube, usually it's a lot more, especially after a pay-per-view, but we had the hiccups on Sunday. We have a tie at 19%. 19% of you gave it a thumbs up. 19% of you gave it a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 22% of you decided skipping it. Oh, wait a minute. That's Raw. Forgive me, guys. That's actually for Raw. I thought that number was kind of low. Let's hang on a second here. Where's that poll? Where's that Money in the Bank poll? There we go. All right, let's try that again. So we have a tie at 13%. 13% of you gave it a thumbs down. 13% of you skipping it, not watching it. Again, we're talking about Money in the Bank. Meanwhile, 29% of you are staying in the middle, and 45% of you decided you were going to give it a thumbs up. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Let's combine that with our Twitter poll. This is usually majority here. Majority usually, there's a lot of people that usually vote more on the Twitter poll, a lot more interactive. So for the Twitter poll, I really didn't put that many tweets out today. So let's see if I can pull this up. Yep, there we go. Almost broke 100 here on Twitter. 19% of you are skipping it. Wait a minute. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on. No. We want tweets and replies, don't we? Hang on a second. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Was looking at the wrong date on Twitter here. My bad. I should have had this already fucking set up. It's all good. See, I'll fast forward a little bit more. My God, I didn't put out that many damn tweets, and yet I gotta just fucking scroll down. I gotta scroll down more. But you know, again, when you guys take the time out to interact, I want y'all's voices to be heard. So let's see if I can pull this up. Where are you? Where are you, poll? I'll give this 10 more seconds, and if I can't find the poll, we're just gonna say fuck it. I'm just gonna rely on you guys in the chat on YouTube to find the poll for me on Twitter. Yeah, I know I put a damn poll out. I'm not able to find it now, which fucking sucks. All right, so I'm gonna need for you guys in the chat, see if you can pull up the Twitter poll for Money in the Bank. Cause I'm even looking at my mentions right now and I don't even see, it's like the shit don't even exist. Yeah, it's like the shit don't even exist. All right, so but from what I remember, I want to say a lot of you guys had gave it a thumbs up, if my memory serves right. There were definitely a lot of you guys that said overall you had enjoyed the pay-per-view. So no, I thought other than those two matches I mentioned, it definitely gets a pass. It definitely gets a pass. But I tell you what a difference 48 hours make. I was kind of gonna just jump around a little bit, but while it's still in my mind and I'm still thinking about it, I guess we can address the big elephant in the room right now. So, what a news day! Big Cass released by the WWE. I got to tell you, shortly after I had came back from the doctor, I'm kicking back with the missus, and she's like, "So what are you gonna do now?" I said, I'm probably gonna get ready to watch the Hardy's Woken documentary on the WWE network." It's like, "Oh, okay, I'll watch that with you. I like the Hardys." I was like, "Okay, cool." So as we're gearing up to do that, I'm just scrolling through my phone and I see the news. WWE has come to terms with Big Cass. Big Cass released. I'm going, this has to be a joke. Who spread it this bad rumor, right? And I'm going, no. Let me go straight to the source because this has to be bogus. I go straight to the source, WWE, go to their website, and they're going, oh, yeah. We're like, whoa, like what the hell? No other information is known at this time. I mean, and it was just so cold-hearted. Like normally, when you see that a talent has been released by the WWE, normally there's then an attachment of we wish them the best in their future endeavors. You usually see something like that when talent is dismissed online. But in a rare case, like with Big Cass, they addressed him by his real name and then put in parentheses his stage name and just said has come to terms on his release. And that was it, just ice cold. And you're going, what the hell's going on here? And I tell you, it was very interesting reading a lot of the forums, interacting with people and seeing what they all had thought about the release of Big Cass. And I tell you what, Facebook is the place you want to be with regards to keeping in contact with me. Go check out the show page at the RCWR Show on Facebook, facebook.com/RCWR Show. Because as soon as the news had went down, I put up basically, what's your thoughts, guys? Give me what you got. And I tell you, it's catching like fire right now. And I just want to read some of the comments that came in about Big Cass being released from Facebook. Because I told the guys, I said, look, you guys tune in. We'll talk a little bit more about this We'll also share some of your interactions on this, but let me turn the floor over to them. Now, this I don't have to be digging through. This is pretty much one of the last things that I had put out before I was getting ready to do the show here tonight. So I love this. I love when we get these comments, man. Seriously, it's like I got to tell you, just to warn you guys in advance as my screen's loading up here. A lot of the comments were pretty crude. I got to tell you that's your spoiler right there. A lot of laughing faces and everything on this one. Okay, Brian, this is all via Facebook, the Facebook show page. Brian, he wasn't a very good wrestler, and he had awful mic skills, and he wasn't any good without Enzo Amore. Rick, just because you're 7 foot tall doesn't mean anything if you don't have anything to back it up. He would have had a personality that wait a minute, Rick, am I reading what your guy Rick it's jammed together here. Just because you're 7 foot tall doesn't mean anything if you don't have anything to back it up. If he would have had a personality that wasn't Captain Caveman minus the club to whack women, then drag them to the cave, make wife, it's no big loss. There should be a period right there. Hell, go to Japan or AAA or ROH and hopefully have his club to be Caveman Kaz. I get where Rick was basically trying to tell a little joke there, but everything was so. If I would have read what he had wrote initially, I cleaned it up. It was basically a run-on sentence. I don't see no commas. I don't see no periods. It is just. Imagine, if you will, that you went to the store and you were trying to find yourself something to eat, and then you walk down to the frozen food section and you say, oh my God, there's a piece of pizza right there. Do I want to get Tombstone pizza? Do I want to get Uno's, or do I want to get Bigfoot pizza? Man, maybe I want to go get an ice cream sandwich instead. It was kind of basically a run-on sentence. Like, I'm not picking on Rick. Rick's a long-time listener, but Rick, you got to clean that up next time, man. Don't worry. Don't feel bad. I'm a victim of circumstance as well when it comes to posting on Facebook. Just when I think I have everything spelled correctly, fuck. Jeff, without Enzo, he really wasn't getting anywhere. Great talent, though. Hopefully someone grabs him. Justin writes, can't say he didn't try, but without Enzo and 8 or 9 month injury, he just couldn't cut the mustard. I'll read a couple of more of these. Richard, oh, hell yeah. Good riddance. He was boring on the mic and in the ring. Adrian, look forward to see Bischoff introduce him as the new member of the NWO next Monday on Nitro. Really? 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 Come on. Angel, who'll probably join TNA. He can't join TNA. TNA's been dead for a long time now, but we have Impact Wrestling or Northeast Wrestling. Kelly kept it short and sweet, often injured. So, my 2 cents with regards to Big Kaz being cut. I mean, look, a lot of you guys sadly had missed the second half, I want to say. Let me think for a second. No, I think we covered it on the Money in the Bank. I think in the first hour, 15 minutes, you guys had heard it. But basically, I had said, with regards to Big Kaz, I said, you know, what you need to do with this guy, you got to go back to the drawing board with him because he's not connecting with the crowd. And longtime listeners know this. I am a sucker when it comes to longevity as far as a wrestling career goes. I've always told you guys over the years that if you're a professional wrestler and you want to have longevity in the business, you got to get some type of a reaction from the crowd. Any reaction is better than no reaction at all. I don't give a damn if you're getting babyface cheer reactions or if you're getting heel reactions. You got to unanimously get one or the other from them. If it is indifferent, basically silent, you're not really gonna last that long. And it seemed like every single time Big Cass came out, yeah, there would be a couple of jeers. There'd be a couple of boos here and there, but the majority of the fans in attendance, it was whatever. So what's next? And I said on this very show just a few nights ago, WWE, go back to the drawing board with this young man. A lot of potential. Maybe one of the things you should do is have him team up with The Miz, because Miz just has a way of bringing out the best in people. He just does. So many times we have seen Miz do great wonders with very little that's being given to him. And my whole argument was, if anybody can give some good fundamental skills, if anybody could really tap into Cass and give him the tools he needs to really succeed, a guy like The Miz, a veteran like The Miz that has been in the WWE, what, 10 years now at least, maybe a little bit more? If anybody could really get through to him and give him the proper guidance, Miz could probably be the one. And to see that WWE has decided to go in a different direction and just release Cass, that speaks large volumes to me. Now, look, let's really be honest here. Big Cass, before he got to the WWE, he was doing a little something on the independents, as a couple of you had passionately wanted to point out to me, because the point you all were making was, look, he tried it out on the independents before he came to the WWE. He was in developmental for a good minute, wasn't really progressing as much as the other talents. And anybody that was watching the, what was it, the Breaking Ground miniseries on the WWE network, that guy was on the goddamn chopping block. He was on his way to getting the pink slip, but then the decision was made, well, you know what? Let's pair him up with Enzo Amore. Pair him up with him and let's see if something can happen. And I tell you what, the two of those guys being paired up, the greatest compliment. They really, really did compliment each other. What Enzo, I guess I should continue to call him Real One, what he lacked in as far as height and weight, Big Cass made up for. And what Big Cass lacked in charisma, mic skills, Enzo made up for him. So they both complimented the hell out of each other very, very well. I mean, it was, you know what it reminded me of? I haven't mentioned this tag team in a long time. And I'm sure these guys, if they were to hear me say this, they would agree. I think they would agree wholeheartedly, which is Enzo Amore and Big Cass. They reminded me a lot of Crime Time. JTG, Shad Gaspard reminded me a lot. I'm not just talking the whole gimmick thing, how it's kind of, hip hop. I'm not talking about that. Put that to the side for a minute. I'm not talking about the gimmick. Just when you look at everything that I just described, as far as when you looked at Crime Time, you said, man, JTG, he's the one that kind of has the charisma. He's the one that's pretty decent on the mic. Shad is, he's all right, but he's got the height, he's got the weight, he's a powerhouse. Okay, these two actually, they complement. And then what happened? When the two of them had broke up, yeah, JTG, there was a brief, and I do mean a very brief period there, where it seemed as though, okay, as a singles breakout star, maybe not a world heavyweight champion, but maybe a United States champion, maybe a multi-time tag team champion. Hell, he might even touch that Intercontinental champion. Yeah, sure, what the hell? But just when you thought something good was getting ready to happen, a thing called heat had went down, okay? And that pretty much was the end of that. But if you really kind of stop and think about it, JTG just wasn't the same without Shad, and vice versa. So when I look at Enzo and Kaz, that's really what I had thought about. But Real One really had shined, I felt, more as a solo act. There was so much market ability with Real One that it was not even funny. Yeah, but self-destruction, man, just self-destruction. But yeah, Kaz, Real One, they complemented the hell out of each other. And I get WWE. I get the perspective that they had, which was, well, look, yeah, we're making all of this great money off of them, but we would do even better if we break these guys up, because if the fans are really connecting with them like this, then maybe we could do a lot better business with the two of them being separate and make even more revenue off of these guys. I get it. That's why the Shield got broken up, right? I get that. I really do. But Kaz, sadly, for all of the time he was down at the Performance Center, for all the time that he was on the main roster trying to make it work, making everything click, then the injury goes down. Then he comes back. And one thing that was very unanimous from those I was interacting with privately, and then just participating in forums and all that, was everybody coming to the same conclusion of, I think it's safe to say that the reason why Big Cass was released by the WWE is because of that spot that went down with that midget on SmackDown a couple of weeks back. Now, for those that haven't been really faithfully watching SmackDown, there was a couple of weeks ago where there was a segment involving Big Cass, who was trying to go roughshod on a midget. And the midget and Big Cass, they thought it would be a really cool idea if Big Cass worked stiff on him, basically really laying it into the little man. And Vince McMahon, he was like, nah, word on the beat is Vince McMahon, really, he was opposed to that. He just wanted them to stick to what was planned, stick to the script, and that's it. And Big Cass had decided that, you know what, I get the old man, but this would be a really damn cool ass spot. Old man don't know what he's talking about. I'm gonna show him. And apparently the rest is history. A lot of what people are saying in the forums, even those that have somewhat direct knowledge of what all had transpired, are basically saying that incident is what sealed his fate. You also could maybe talk about the other incident where there was something he was trying to be very vocal about creatively. There was something that I'm not talking about the midget thing. There was another instance leading up to that where creatively there was something that he had really wanted to do. And they kind of were like, no, can't do that. And decided to. Now, look, let's just say for the sake of the argument, we won't really know until the Rob Feinsteins, High Spots, and all of them are able to get this guy and he tells his story. But let's just say, for the sake of the argument, allegedly, that midget spot is pretty much, dwarf, little person. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any type of way, so please don't take what I'm saying about the little people the wrong way. But because little people, at the end of the day, they have feelings, so you gotta definitely be respectful. But no, got a brain fart. So Big Cass, this whole shit, I'm finding my way back. Don't worry, guys. I'm finding my way back. So Big Cass, let's say he went into business for himself. Let's say he did decide he wanted to do that. Well, you know what? That's a big no-no. Ask JTG. Ask JTG about trying to be innovative, trying to shake things up, trying to grab the bull by the horns, and really trying to stand out on your own. Sometimes I just, in the case of a guy like Big Cass, I would say, you know what, young man, you ain't even been on the main roster for 2 years. You are still trying to find your place within that company. You are still trying to find your place on that main roster. Listen to those that came before you. If you got somebody telling you, nah, man, that really wouldn't be a good idea. You really shouldn't be doing that. You really need to stick to the script. Then, by God, you should stick to that script. Why rock the boat? I'm sorry, but if I'm told no, you can't, we don't want you to do that. Yeah, I can have some really damn good ideas. I could be very passionate and I can say, look, I insist that we do this because look at it from this standpoint. You could do this, 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 this. Oh, and then you could do this, this, this. And if I'm told, yeah, that's nice and all, but yeah, we're just not going to go in that direction. We don't really want to go there. We're going to go with this tonight. Then you know what? Hey, it's y'all call. Most people with common sense would go, you know what? It's your call. You're the boss. And think to themselves, what the fuck? I get my money either way. Either way, I'm making my salary. All right, so I'm going to go out here. I'm going to do whatever they telling me I need to go do. And you know what? If it sucks, then I come to the back. They're going to say, hey, told you so. Good example. I was watching an episode of something else with Bruce Pritchard. And they were talking about, I want to say it was the Shawn Michaels 1995 episode. And there was some ideas that had ran about at one of the shows or whatnot. And Conrad was asking Bruce, who came up with that shit? Chat me up a little. And Bruce was like, oh, that was me. That was all me. And yeah, well, we had this spot, and usually Vince, he'll have the final say, and it's coming back to me now. There was the spot with Shawn Michaels taking on Diesel. And remember when Shawn Michaels did the super kick, like Diesel kicked out after one. And they both had told Vince McMahon, hey, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we really shouldn't be doing that. It should be a situation where just when it looks like Shawn is about to beat Diesel at 3, then Diesel kicks out. We should do it like that. But Vince had insisted, no. We need to make Diesel look strong. He felt that by him barely kicking out of the super kick, that would make Diesel look weak. And back then, according to Bruce Pritchard, Vince had the mentality of, well, what would the Hulkster do? Meaning, well, look at how we booked the Hulkster. Look at how we did him. So we got to apply the same rules to a guy like a Diesel, a guy like, trying to think of another name, a guy like Undertaker, a guy like Yokozuna, the Hulk Hogan rule, basically. And when they both went to the back after the match was over, Vince admitted out in the open, yeah, that was a bad idea. Yeah, you guys were right. So I would prefer somebody say to me after the fact, no, we're going to go in this direction. And I come back and I just make eye contact. I would prefer they say to me, yeah, that fucking sucked. I think you were on to something. We should have ran with your idea. We'll get it next time. Dust your hands off. And that's it. And then you've got the other report that's floating around talking about how much of a big Trump supporter that Big Cass is. Not was, is. And how he would let his political affiliation, his support for the president, be known in large volumes. And that had rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And, when you just combine all of those things, I mean, that is just toxicity at its finest. And yeah, you're walking on eggshells. It's just going to be a matter of time, quite honestly, before you're given the pink slip. And, I'm like this. I am like this. Yes, this country, it is very beautiful. The country in which we live in, it is very beautiful. The fact that we are given the right of freedom of speech. At the same time, though, you have to be careful. It is a very slippery slope because when you're a young, up and coming talent incorporated into the WWE family and you're trying to find your stride, it should just be nothing but about paying your dues, making sure that you give the right impression off to people, try to come off as a team player, be a yes man to a degree. Yeah, be vocal, share your thoughts about something, hey, creatively, well, why are we doing this? And, why not do this? How do we benefit the most from, this happening with my opponent and me coming out of it? Really come off being a universal team player. But when you are young and upcoming and you do all that stuff that I just said, yeah, people that have seniority, without a shadow of doubt, they're probably going to be like, hey, y'all need to talk to this dude because we need to do something with this. Now, look, everybody follows Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon. Let me post the question in the chat room. Those names that I just mentioned, do any of you guys see Triple H, Steph, or Vince talk about their political affiliation, talk about their beliefs, talk about basically, hey, as far as what's going on with immigration and blah this and blah that? Do you see any of them mentioning that on their social media timelines? I bet the answer to that is going to be no. All right. Now, maybe once in a blue moon, you may see them share a picture with somebody and they'll say, oh, great time running into an old friend and blah, blah, blah. And that's basically the end of it. Okay. So far we got no's in the chat. We got no's in the chat that say, no, don't see them on social media. Let's take it a step further. And you guys let me know, because we're educating each other and we're educating everybody else that maybe don't be following a lot of these stars on social media. What about your John Cena's? What about your Roman Reigns? What about your, I don't know. What about your AJ Styles? What about your Shinsuke Nakamura's? Anybody on the main roster or rosters, with the exception of Sami Zayn. We know Sami Zayn, he's outspoken. Kevin Owens is outspoken as well, but the way he goes about talking his political beliefs, I won't say he dances around it, but he makes his point in such a clever way. You know what he's talking about, and you can't really attack him the way he puts it out there, the way he spins it. Corey Graves is another one that's pretty outspoken on social media, but he's not outright, I think as far as superstars that were just so very outspoken about what's going on with our current president and the administration in office, Dave Bautista really comes to mind. He was lighting it up the other day, lighting it up big time. You know why a lot of these talents that I had just went over, why a lot of them don't touch that spectrum? That's because they are not trying to alienate their fan base. I would not be surprised if there was a group meeting amongst talent and it basically was said to them, look, these are some turbulent times that we're in right now. Going forward, any media obligations that come about, if the topic of politics comes up, try to be as neutral as humanly possible, because if you come off as if you are picking a side, heaven forbid you pick the side that is the unpopular side in President Trump, you're going to alienate your fan base. We don't want to put you in a position where folks may wish to do some type of harm physically to you, things of that nature. So try to play it as neutral as humanly possible. Try to dodge the topic if you can. I wouldn't be surprised if a new mandate was out there because I mean, I check out many transcripts of interviews. I check out many audio, video, and audio interviews that a lot of these stars, in particular in the WWE, do. And I can't recall ever a time where Sasha Banks said she doesn't approve of the president. I don't, and if it is, y'all got to educate me because I don't be stalking people's social media accounts like that. If it's brought to my attention or if I read about it in headlines, then I know about it that way. All right. Now, as far as do I think Big Cass would have been a future WWE champion had they not released him? That's like asking me That's like asking me if somebody throw a name, just throw. That's like asking me if I see a day come where maybe James Ellsworth would become a WWE champion if he's not released. You know, if you ask me personally, Lee, if you had the company WWE right now, Big Cass was still on your roster, would you make him a future WWE champion? I would honestly say, based on what I'm seeing of the young man so far, I really can't answer that. It's really up in the air. This young man is still trying to find himself. Yes, he has the height, he has the size, but that don't mean jack. You gotta have the charisma. For a big man, I felt he was pretty decent. I felt he was relatively agile in the ring, but the charisma, you gotta have that down. But most importantly, you gotta be a team player. That's the other thing. You gotta be a team player. You can have all the talents in the world, the mic, all that. All that could be at your disposal. But if you're coming off like an asshole to those that's basically writing your checks, those that's writing your stuff, trying to book you properly, and you crap on them and everything, then you're not going to last that long. And look, all due respect to the person in the chat. Oh, that's Mark. All due respect, Mark, about what about IC? What about tag team titles? I look at that as wisha, woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's basically how I look at it. Honestly, if there's one thing that a lot of veteran listeners have been able to pick up with me over the years, I don't really like dealing with fantasies. I know that's a big thing with some people. It's like, well, what would have happened if, kind of like Marvel Comics, what if Spider-Man did not get bitten by a radioactive spider? What do you suppose would have happened to him? I don't like dealing with speculation. If you ask me for the time that he was in the company up until his release, if I saw big promising things happening for him, I would say yes. And like I would say to any young talent on the roster still trying to make their strides in a company, I always say, hey, mind your manners, stay on your P's and Q's, go to the veterans, go to those that have been in the company for X amount of years. Be a sponge, absorb any and all info you can get from them, and do business right. Do right by yourself, do right by the company, continue that path. Nothing but good things will happen for you. Keep your nose clean. Stay out of trouble. Okay? Stay out of trouble. I would say anything was possible with Big Cass. Anything was possible with the young man, but I don't really like speculating. What I can say is he came off as though with more seasoning, which is why I mentioned Miz. With more seasoning, with more coaching, he seemed as though he was going to be a really good force to reckon with as far as a big guy goes. But now the main question becomes, so what's going to happen with the young man next? If I could offer any type of advice to Kaz right now, I would just say, look, you spent many weeks on the road. Before that, you were injured. Now, just take this time, catch up with your family, right? I would imagine, even though he was released by the WWE, there's probably a non compete clause for about 90 days, right? So enjoy the time with the family, regroup, re strategize. And I know everybody's been like, TNA or that's usual. I mean that's almost customary when it that's almost a no-brainer when somebody is released from the WWE. The usual suspects is being thrown out there as far as which promotions is he maybe gonna work for and all that, or this talent is gonna work for. Basically, of all the promotions I've been seeing so far, if you ask me where Big Cass is a sure thing, where he would probably thrive from the most, I think he actually would do better going to a promotion like ROH. I personally feel I think he would do better going down to actually no no. My advice to Big Cass would be to get in contact with Al Snow since he is now the new head boss in charge, new owner and all that of OVW. My advice to Big Cass would be get in contact with Al Snow and you need to get back to the fundamentals. You need to break yourself down only to rebuild yourself back up. And Al Snow, who doesn't like Al Snow? But as a booker, as a guy that works very closely with talent, helping them evolve and everything. Over the years, I've heard nothing but good things about him. I've seen his fingerprints for the tenure that he was involved in Impact Wrestling behind the scenes. And I think at this point, he would actually do some good things. I actually think he would do some good things with OVW. Yeah, that would be my advice to him. So, but the speculation, it's going to continue. Maybe this happened, or hey, maybe there was a drug violation, or maybe this had happened. Yeah, everything is speculation right now. We just got to deal with the fact the man got released. The man got released, and that's the bottom line. I think by next Tuesday, we're gonna learn a lot more about what had went down. And I think the more information we have, the better. But that's about as much as I'm gonna go with regards to Big Cass. Let's keep it going though. So, other than that big piece of news that had went down, how about the shit that had went down with Chris Hardwick? We're kind of jumping a little bit back and forth. I'm definitely going to talk a lot more wrestling in a bit, but we're talking about one bad thing, right? Well, might be a good thing depending on how some of you guys looked at Big Cass and him being released. But the Chris Hardwick thing, I mean, you talk about potentially a person that was a victim of the Me Too movement. You look at a guy like Chris Hardwick. Now, let's kind of get some of you guys caught up to speed. Now, if you guys are hardcore video gamers like I am, then you know the name Chris Hardwick. Anybody that is a long time fan of Chris Hardwick, you definitely know about his podcast, the company that he founded, The Nerdist and all that, but you may also remember him years before that when he was involved with the G4 TV network. Occasionally, he had hosted X-Play. He hosted for, I want to say, about almost 100 episodes. He hosted Attack of the Show. So long history there as far as entertainment and all that goes. And I was excited when I had heard that this guy was going to be the host of Talking Dead. I felt, you know what, if anybody can do it, yeah, this guy, he is the best at what he does. Sure, what the hell. And most times when it would come to Talking Dead or whatever, or Talking Saul, I wouldn't stay up and watch the stuff because Well, I've already watched the episode. Why do I need to watch other people talk about what they just watched? I can just look over to whoever I'm watching it with and be like, so what did you think? Or whatever like that. But there were a lot of times that, okay, Chris is going to be talking to who? Okay, a lot of times, more than once, I found myself watching the after shows on AMC, and he just seemed. Let me put it to you this way: for a person that loves interviewing people, and if there's one thing that a lot of people have told me over the years, it's Lee. The way you interview people, it comes off just really like a conversation that you're having with them. It's so smooth, it's very organic. Seems like you have a lot of fun with it. It seems like that's what you're really strong at. And you can really tell. You go back and you listen to the interviews, especially when you go back to the early years and you see the evolution. I like a really good interviewer slash host that can really just make it come off when he's talking to his guests like it's not an interview. It's just an all around good conversation. And I tell you what, Chris Hardwick, he did a phenomenal job with that, with the AMC shows. So to hear that an ex-lover comes to the scene, marinate on this for a few ticks. Anonymously writes a blog documenting a verbal and abusive relationship she was in with this man. Right? It's an anonymous blog. But then she goes on social media and says, "Oh, hey guys, I wanted you to know that I had posted this anonymous blog over at wait, what? So wait, you posted a blog not under your own handle or anything, not under your own name, just whatever. So you were trying to be discreet, you were trying to get some stuff off your chest, but now you're okay, so that almost screams, look at me, look what I did, look what I did." So remember that. I'm making a very good point here. So because of this damaging blog that she puts out there, a very damaging blog, I was just fucking amazed at all the people that were gathering around going, "Oh, that goddamn Chris Hardwick, he's an asshole. Oh, he needs to be fired. Oh, he needs to be beaten up and deaf to him. Who's his sponsors? Who's paying him?" And all this other crap. So AMC, rightfully so, we understand when it comes to those after shows, big guests, big celebrities stop by. You got a lot of the PR teams, PR agencies calling up AMC. "Hey, look, really concerned about what's going on with Mr. Hardwick. I got to tell you, my client doesn't really want to come on this show because they don't want to send the wrong message. They've got a brand to protect, nothing personal. And us as a company, we got to protect ourselves as well. Look, we want to do the show, but if he's going to be the guest, if he's going to be the host, we don't really want to have anything to do with him. Can you get somebody else to host? Call us when you can. We'll gladly do the show, but not right now." So eventually AMC, they had to just put a finito over his shows until the matter is resolved. So his show is on hiatus unless they're going to go in a different direction and and get a new host, or it's just going to be on hiatus until. So you got AMC, they cave. You've got the Comic-Con that he was supposed to appear at in San Diego in a couple of weeks. He was supposed to be part of a special panel. They're like, he's no longer invited. So you're going, damn. NBC is the only ones that seem to be saying to themselves, well, look, production for the show, The Wall, in case you guys don't know, he also hosts The Wall. It's like seems like Plinko from The Price is Right. That's basically how it comes off. That's the way I can describe it. It's a game show that kind of spoofs off of The Price is Right game, Plinko. So the production for that doesn't happen until September, and they're basically saying, Well, look, that's in September. We're watching this very closely. We'll make a decision then. So NBC is basically like the only guys right now that's saying we're going to see what happens. It's touch and go right now. Okay, good for you, NBC. Fucking Nerdist, the company that he found, right? They removed him from the history books as being one of the founders. They put out this statement distancing themselves from this man, and you're going, wait a minute here, wait a minute. I thought we lived in America. I thought I said this on social media like late last week, like literally right before we went into Saturday. I said, what the flying fuck happened to innocent until proven guilty? That would be no different than me writing an article, and I'm just gonna pick on somebody in the chat right now. Watch Guru. That would be like me writing a fucking blog and saying that when I was 5 years old, Watch Guru molested me. Do you know how first of all, to write something like that isn't even true, but just the fact that I wrote that, do you know how damaging that would be for Watch Guru? And all the people that, well, this person said they were, so my God, and people's minds are already made up. And they already want to go attack that individual. They want to go attack Watch Guru. They want to attack his sponsors. They want to attack his affiliates, all that shit. What happened until innocent until proven guilty? And I saw so many people, oh, she's innocent. Oh, you had one guy, I can't think of his name right now. His last name starts with a K. Seemed as though it was Kazinski or something like that, who tried to take up for this woman, basically saying, oh, there's so much that she had told me, and I can attest that blah, 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 yakety smackety. And you're going, okay, so why don't you shed more light then on this story? And that's what a lot of people were saying to this guy. Well, since you know so much, clue us in, man. Tell us what the 411 is, right? Catch us up to speed. Oh, well, it's not in my place to, well, wait a minute. In the same breath, dude, you literally just said, oh, I can attest and I can confirm all of this stuff that she said, as she shared very intimate information with me about blah, 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 blah. This is legit. And your asked, well, shed more light. What else can you add to? It's not my place. Well, it wasn't your place a few seconds ago to say something about this topic, but you decided to butt your nose in it. Keep in mind, when you do your respected research about this guy that decided he wanted to step in on this smear campaign against Chris Hardwick, he's got his own little fiascos. There was, I believe, a TV show, if I'm not mistaken, that he was incorporated with, or a movie, or some Hollywood project that he was incorporated with. And I believe he was tied to, don't quote me because I only skimmed it. I want to say it had maybe something to do with child molestation, messing around with underage kids, something of that nature. So it's, okay, what's really going on here? But we have people that are, no, this is legit. This is the truth. Right down to the point. And kudos to TMZ. You know, a lot of times I don't give two shits about TMZ because a lot of times they seem very scandalous, but I would have to give them a lot of credit. Within the past 3 years, they've really been stepping it up as far as trying to be very okay. Let's cross all references. Let's cross off all the 5 W's. Let's make sure that everything is on point. They've actually tried to put some serious play and great emphasis in detail on confirming, okay, here's the facts. TMZ had posted an article. They actually had received transcripts of text messages between Chris Hardwick and this woman. I'm not going to even mention this woman's name. I'm not going to even give her that, because my takeaway from this, she is doing this to get attention. She is, as far as I'm concerned, using to her advantage the Me Too movement in hopes of maybe trying to put the spotlight on her and what's honestly a very mediocre cosplay career so far for her. It's how I personally am looking at this. Not to mention, the girl looks like she might have some drug problems. I've never seen a woman that is almost 30 years of age have the body of a 15-year-old. And I'm not making fun of her whatsoever. You look at the pictures yourself, you'll say, nah, I ain't never seen a woman that it looks that small to have a body like a 15-year-old. That and she's 30 and she's got that height. Is she doing drugs? Is going to be one of the questions you ask when you look at her. So TMZ obtained this transcript and a very lengthy text message that Chris Hardwick had sent to this young girl. Now, if I were to read all of this to you, it would take me 5 minutes. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to tell you guys is go out of your way. Go look this article up. Just type in Bing or Google search TMZ Chris Hardwick text messages. You get about 10 minutes, lunch break, commute to and from work, school, or whatever. Read that. As clear as day, just to give you the bullet points, as clear as day, Chris Hardwick is going, okay, you know what? I now have it on good authority that you've been cheating on me, and I want to distance myself from you as much as humanly possible. You faking. You don't want to get back with me whatsoever. And you know what? I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm tired of being in this position where, you know, you try to do me like you did me at E3 and you go, oh, hey, it's so convenient that you bump into Sam at E3. It's like, I'm not stupid. So he does this really nice, long, lengthy message where he basically gives her the kiss of death. He's like, look, you're free to do whatever you want to do any old time with whoever you want to go do it with. And she is literally begging him. After this lengthy message, she is literally begging him to, no. We can be together. We should be together. We got a good thing going on here. Let's continue on. Now, here's what's really funny. TMZ also obtained even more text messages. 7 months after this initially goes down, she continues to send him text messages begging to get back together. Now, stop and marinate on this for a few ticks, guys. If this woman was being verbally abused by Chris, if she was being physically abused by Chris, why the blue fuck, now that she has her freedom, why would she turn right back around and say, we should be together? Why 7 months later would she say, hey, we should still be together? What can we do to make it work? Now, you're talking to someone that knows what it's like to be in a household where you have one spouse that is verbally abusive, physically abusive. My own two eyes as a little kid, shortly after my dad had left me and my mom at the age of fucking 8 or 9 years old, my mom just went through a period where she just took care of herself. Eventually, she met a couple of nice guys, didn't really go anywhere, but there was one guy in particular that was a real piece of shit. I know the signs. I know the signs of someone that is in denial when they're in a physical, verbal, abusive relationship and they're continuing to deal with it because first they're thinking, well, it's just me. I'm the one that did something wrong. I'm the one that caused this. It's my fault. But then for a lot of these women that are victims to domestic abuse, a lot of them, they almost realize before it's too late and it costs them their lives that this is very toxic. I need to get myself out of this situation before it's too late. And heaven forbid if there's a kid in the picture as well. If there's a kid in the picture as well, then most mothers, they're going, my God, I don't want my kid to see me continue to get these bruises. I don't want my kid exposed to this. I don't want my kid to grow up like this piece of shit. And they're going to try to run away, all this other shit. Okay. So something does not smell right when it's all said and done, guys. And again, innocent until proven guilty. That's the bottom line right here. I know a lot of you guys want to jump on the whole, because it seems like that's the cool thing to do. But you really got to take a step back when you hear stuff like this, when you hear allegations like this, and you got to look at the evidence that's coming in. You got to see where the chips are going to fall. And then once you have all the evidence, once everything is at your disposal to really kick back and go, okay, so this is how it is, then you're able to form your own opinion as far as, okay, this person's a piece of shit, or you know what? Hey, wow, this guy's actually innocent. And I'm telling you, like I said right before the weekend had hit, if she's got any type of damaging evidence, now you see what TMZ had did. Now, unless she's got a really good 1-2 counter to what was put out there, and anybody that is going to grant this young woman an interview, I would like for her to try to address, okay, you kept going back and forth with this guy, begging for more chances after he sent you that one-off text message and he was done with you and replied to you ever again. Sometimes you got people that, and I've learned this the hard way. I've had friends that have learned this the hard way. It even applies to the wrestling business or NBA or whatever your favorite form of entertainment is. Sometimes there are individuals that you will come across in your life that are just jaded as fuck because they don't like where you are in a certain stage in your life. They don't like the fact that, wow, look at you. You're making money. You're living the dream. You're able to do all of these cool things, go to these really, cool events. You're able to meet interesting people and look at me over here. I'm barely able to make ends meet. Man, I wish I had what you had. And sadly, rather than have individuals that, okay, I want to get to where this person is. Let me see if maybe this person can give me some tricks of the trade and give me some solid advice on what I need to do to bring my A game up a level, right? Or B, C game, whatever it is. That's the right thing to do. But then you just have some that just want to figure out, well, damn, they were able to do all this without me. Man, fuck them, man. I'll make them pay. I'm gonna make them pay without a shadow. I'm gonna get them real good. So I challenge anybody that's able to score an interview with this girl, figure out, put this in front of her. What is your response? What is your response to these text messages? I'm just dying to hear her response. What, were you on drugs? Were you on ecstasy? What? Well, how do you justify that? You really can't. Not to mention, this is going to be a slam dunk lawsuit that Hardwick is going to be able to win, because you're talking about defamation of character, you're talking about slander, you're talking about loss of wages, you are talking about his name, which is his brand, being tarnished. He's going to be able to win this lawsuit on so many levels. I would imagine that close friends, family members, they're definitely going to be able to, no. It's like he never, so I hope she's ready to bring it and bring it hard. But in a nutshell, I think that with regards to the Me Too movement and Chris Hardwick, I honestly do believe that Chris Hardwick is a victim of the Me Too movement. And here is a genuine case, I feel right here, where the Me Too movement is used wrongly. Almost kind of reminds me of an article I had read the other day. There was a clarinetist that he sued his ex-girlfriend for, I want to say, almost $400,000 because there was this prestigious school that he was trying to get into, right? And he met this girl, madly fell in love with her, blah, 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 blah. And the school that he was trying to get into, it wasn't really a school, I should say. It was more like an internship. And it was like this well-known musician who basically he would pick two people to be his understudy, like two people from the entire world to be his understudy for a couple of years. And it was basically like a paid position. You would get paid training. He would pay you. You know, you would go on gigs and all that. You would learn from the very best. And this ex-girlfriend, like, she applied, I think, as well, and like some other people applied, but long story short, she basically pretended to be a dean and type up a rejection letter because she didn't want him to go. She wanted him to stay with her. That's how I'm remembering it right. And he didn't find out until like 2 years later or whatever that she did all that. And he took her ass to court. Loss of wages, loss of a potential job / career path, education, and he actually won, believe it or not. And respectfully, if you have to come into the chat and you have to say, who the hell is Chris Hardwick? When you're watching any of the shows live here on YouTube and you see that it's live, you can actually hit the slider button and you can rewind back and you can basically get the very beginning and how we had set this up properly. Or you can actually do a Bing or Google search. Again, only hardcore video gamers would know about this guy because before he became a household Hollywood name, a lot of us gamers remembered him from the respective platforms and mediums that we had talked about a while back. So let's talk some more good stuff. I'm just getting started. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. Hey, we got to pay some bills, man. We got to recognize some of our show sponsors. We also got to recognize some of our Patreon members because without their kind contributions, shows like what you're checking out right now would not be free. So we definitely need to take the time out and give a big thank you to our sponsors and also to our Patreon members. Remember, you do need to do your very best. Sign up on our Patreon page, patreon.com/RCWR Show. You're missing out on a lot of really cool content, man. Point being, we had the NXT TakeOver event in Chicago. That audio ended up becoming a Patreon exclusive. Yeah, Patreon exclusive. Also, we have 30 with Lee series. If you like movies, me, sometimes the missus, we review some really cool movies, hidden gem movies, independent films, new releases. We do a little bit of everything on 30 with Lee. Then you've got Wrestling with the Topics. That's a great series. No wrestling topics is brought up. Kind of gives you a little bit of a taste into the Sanders household. Me and the missus are always doing all the episodes for that one, which, by the way, we got a new episode we're going to be dropping for you guys, our Patreon family, this Wednesday. So we're going to be recording Wednesday morning soon as she gets back from the gym. And that should be fun. A lot of stuff that we're going to be diving into. But you get access to all that, bonus audio, video content, all for $5 a month. And we're pumping them out on a weekly basis. So you can't really, it's a lot. That's some good stuff right there. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Want to recognize our Patreon members. Love these guys tremendously. Shout out to the beautiful and the lovely Courtney Summers. Courtney, I'm trying to hear what's going on with that podcast. I got to make sure I remember to get with you tomorrow now that I'm good with my health and all. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis. Shout out to my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Joe Raymond Jr. Appreciate all of you guys. Love and support as always. Also, Need to recognize some of our show sponsors for tonight. All these guys we have links for in the episode description of this very piece you're checking out right now. RCWR Show is brought to you in part by Destination Vacations Travel Agency. If you need help planning your next vacation and you don't have the time to search online, hey, hit them up. Visit them on the web, destinationvacationstravel.com. Again, destinationvacationstravel.com, or give them a call at area code 630-491-6864. Also, RCWR Show is brought to you in part by lotterywinningsecrets.com. Learn from a lottery winner that won the jackpot 7 consecutive times with great tips and methods. BeckettJewelry.com. If you're in need of great jewelry gift ideas for him or her, check out my good friends over at Beckett Jewelry. Low prices at great quality. Hey, you can't beat that. Family owned and operated in the United States, and all of their products ship from the United States. Beckett Jewelry, love more, spend less. Also brought to you in part by Disseco Solutions. Disseco Solutions offering the best dissection kit for students in grade 9 through 12 and for teachers. They have non-rust stainless steel dissecting tools for your training and instructional purposes. Check them out on Amazon.com. July is right around the corner, and that means one of many things. In this case, the Midwest Ecom Conference that's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota, July 20th through the 21st. If you're looking to become a successful eBayer or Amazon seller, you want to work on a better income to provide for yourself and your family, learn a lot from the experts at this fun 2-day event. For tickets, registration, information, head on over to MidwestEcom.com. That's MidwestEcom.com. And for some really cool ideas as far as automated home businesses, as far as domains go, .ws, that is the newest thing that's happening right now. It's not really catching on just yet, but .ws domains, they are really growing. If you're looking to maybe make a little bit of extra cash on the side from home, go check out GetRichAlso.ws. Again, about selling domain names. You know how you have your .coms, your .orgs, .net? Well, .ws is the next thing. So learn more about that by heading on over to GetRichAlso.ws. And we have a new sponsor that we want to recognize for tonight. I was actually checking these guys out earlier today, and I fucking love these guys. These guys are freaking killers. So if you're like me, FM, AM radio, it sucks. It sucks tremendously when you're pushing Pandora or you're pushing iHeartRadio, and you know that favorite local radio station that's in your area, that's in your city, you know you can't get it on iHeart or Pandora. And sadly, if it's a case where you're making your way to work, school, you don't really get to check out that local show, right? Well, I want to tell you guys about a really cool app that can help you out with that, and it's free to download. I am talking about Flex Dynamic Radio. You can listen to different radio stations during the day. Flex Dynamic Radio, it is radio that you control. Every day, thousands of radio stations make beautiful programs, and you just listen to one. That is until today. With Flex Dynamic Radio, the app called Flex Radio, you can enjoy radio and listen to different stations per hour, depending on your own personal playlist. Creating your own playlist is simple. Just select any radio station anywhere in the world from their global radio database and select the days and start time. Listen to 2 or more stations per day. It's up to you. Dynamic Radio gives you the opportunity to enjoy streaming radio without geographical or technical boundaries. Check them out. There's a difference between the free app and the premium. it just has to do with ads. You're not missing out on anything. If you can handle a couple of Google ads here and there, just sparingly, then you'll enjoy the free version. But I have a feeling you guys are gonna love the premium version. Check them out. They are only available in the iTunes store. So if you're pushing an iPhone, iPad, doesn't matter the model, iTunes is where you need to go. I'm sure, because I was going back and forth with them, they did say that they're going to be working on an Android release and they're looking at other platforms later on this calendar year. But for right now, it's only available in the iTunes store. So check them out. Love those guys. Can't stress them enough. Flex Dynamic Radio. You can visit them on the web at www.flexdynamicradio.com so you can learn a lot more. And again, the Flex Radio app that's available for free in the iTunes store. I will get into a couple of more shout outs in just a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about Raw, SmackDown, and some other tidbits before we get ready to wrap it up for tonight. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the show, show the ultimate support. Make sure you click on the heart, the like, share, retweet, all that good stuff. Really helps out tremendously. Can't stress it enough. Really helps out. Let's talk a little bit about Raw. Let's talk a little bit about SmackDown. So let's go to Raw. Raw was the night after Money in the Bank. I got to tell you, seeing Ronda Rousey come out there and just the way that she was able to handle herself in that segment with Alexa Bliss, I thought that was a very strong ass segment. I ate it up. I enjoyed it. I thought Ronda came out there and she looked extremely strong. Very pissed off. I love the teed off Ronda that was going in there and just beating the holy crap out of Alexa Bliss. Love the spot where she just started attacking the hell out of Kurt Angle, did the judo throw to Kurt Angle, just wailing on him. Didn't she hit Kurt Angle with the Money in the Bank briefcase, if I remember it right? She hit Alexa Bliss a little bit too, and then just that modified, I would even call that a power bomb. I don't know what you call that, but her spiking poor little Alexa Bliss through the table. Love that. All that was just sick. Sick. I loved it. But then things started to get a little bit stupid for me because that great segment goes down. You follow it up with Kurt Angle and Ronda backstage. Kurt says, you know what? You've left me no choice. You know, that wasn't appropriate what you did. You know, you just can't go around and do stuff like that. You're suspended. You're suspended for 30 days. So you hear that, you're going, whoa, damn, we're rolling like that? Like, okay. But that really did not make any sense. For me, that was a case of stupid booking 101. And I'll tell you why that was a case of stupid booking 101. Because the past several weeks, you have had the Riot Squad. They've been harassing people backstage. Hell, there was one segment where they went up to some executive. They took a pair of scissors. They cut his damn tie. You're going, damn, like, they can do that? What the hell? New Day doesn't even roll like that. What the hell? So, yeah, I looked at a situation like that and I thought, yeah, that really, because if we're going to be suspending people, then we need to make sure that all across the board, we're doing the suspension. So, for me to see Ronda Rousey get suspended, I'm going, no, that's not quite working out. And then also, not to mention all the crap that Braun Strowman has done, and you're going, wait, something doesn't compute here. All right. But I'm biting it at the end of the day because of what I had said on the Money in the Bank after show, which is based on Alexa Bliss being put right into the mix again as the women's champion for Raw. You've got Ronda Rousey on one side, you've got Nia Jax on the other. yeah, the way this is kind of looking, both of these girls have some unfinished business with Alexa. Yeah, probably going into Extreme Rules. Yes, Naya is probably going to invoke her rematch clause, right? Some type of way, though, Alexa's going to wiggle her way out of that. And then the next thing you know, it's going to be time for SummerSlam. And like I said on the Money in the Bank after show, I feel that the way things are being mapped out right now per WWE, it's going to be a triple threat for that Raw Women's title coming up at SummerSlam. And I'm honestly fine with that. I really am. And not to mention, I actually had to stop and I had to think about it a little bit more. And it was nice to see I wasn't the only one that was thinking this as well, especially when especially when I had heard from a buddy of mine I haven't heard from in a while, and we were just kind of going back and forth about what we saw on Raw this week. And we both literally were thinking the same thing, which is, do you think that the image that they want to paint into the minds of Ronda Rousey fans is Ronda breaking the hell out of Alexa Bliss's arm? For the simple fact, Alexa has only done it on the main roster twice, as far as I can recall, maybe even 3 times, but I'm gonna say 2 for now. She can do that weird, freaky thing with her arm. And for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, she can bend her, I want to say it's her left arm. She can bend her left arm in such a way that it looks, it is painful to look at. Just type in Alexa Bliss dislocated arm or freakish looking arm, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And since Ronda Rousey's whole deal right now is when she applies that arm bar, she's gonna break it, she's gonna make you tap and all this other cool wicked shit. I swear, me and my friend were going back and forth on this. We're like, you know what, dudes? Like, damn, like SummerSlam, Alexa Bliss, and that armbar by Ronda Rousey. Oh man, that would be like a great ass freaking visual. Especially for those that like really haven't been keeping track of that freakish arm of hers, because they sparingly have been putting it out there. Yeah, man, that actually, I have no problem with Alexa Bliss being the main antagonist right now. I don't. Honestly, here's my 2 cents from a distance. When it comes to Alexa Bliss, I think when it's a situation where the story content for her is strong, meaning, okay, here's where we're going with your character. We've mapped this out, we've put great thought into it. Here's what we're thinking. That way, it's not a situation kind of like the tail end of her title reign where, she was just kind of there. I will admit, when she first came to SmackDown, and we all pretty much were saying the same thing. When she first came to SmackDown, she was still kind of, but you saw a lot of potential. But she has really done a great 180 in getting her character down. And she still struggles in some areas, though. Like, a couple of things I noticed from observation is some moments when the crowd is getting the best of her with their cheers or jeers, or they have something clever, something witty to say, I can see that she's just awkwardly standing there like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? They're saying this. How do I make a comeback? And, I noticed she's kind of like a deer in the headlights sometimes with that. Now, WWE has tried to do a little bit of a better job protecting her by having her with other people that can kind of take a little bit of that pressure off of her when a situation occurs where it seems that the crowd is somewhat hijacking the segment from her, right? But when you have Alexa Bliss storyline wise in something that is really juicy like this that's happening right now, you go, okay, all right, this is the focus, this is the direction they want to go in. Okay, let's continue to let's go there. All right then. So I must admit, shocked me during the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And it was funny as hell seeing some people go, I called that. I said that. And it's like, no, get the fuck out of here. There were not people online saying Alexa Bliss was going to cash in that night. I did not see, you show me one person that said that, and I'll give them a pass, but I did not see anybody when it came to the predictions that were saying, oh, Alexa Bliss is going to, no. I did not see it. If anything, there were people that were saying, hey, Alexa, Braun, Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. That's all that a lot of people kept saying. If not that, the majority of people were saying either Becky Lynch, who's the other girl, Amber Moon, maybe Lana was going to win Money in the Bank. There was even an honorable mention for Charlotte. Nobody, honestly, there was a majority of the people that thought Alexa Bliss wasn't gonna win that. So, you know, I'm fine with her being the champion right now. And like I said, we got SummerSlam literally right around the corner. The way it's coming off right now, there's definitely going to be a triple threat. So I can't wait to see how that's going to play out. Now, look, there's another case of stupid booking 101 right here. I'm watching Raw. I didn't even need to research this. Freestyle. And I can't stress this enough. If a lot of you guys, if you have the Twitter, you really should follow me over at the RCWR Show, because now that there's no more NHL, NBA playoffs and all that, now I'm watching Raw regularly in real time with you all, and I'm tweeting, and you can easily go back and see the timestamp that I put out there. So you have this segment that goes down between Roman Reigns and basically Kurt Angle, right? Set this up properly. Kurt Angle receives a phone call from Stephanie McMahon basically telling him, hey, look, that's cool how you handled Ronda, but we need to think about what's going to happen with a new #1 contender, you know, coming up for Brock Lesnar. We need to try to figure something out. So you have this tournament that's basically going to be underway to figure out who's going to be the next contender to face Brock Lesnar for the title. Well, as Kurt Angle appears as though he's maybe getting ready to drop some names, Roman Reigns comes out and he's getting booed by the crowd. And Roman says, hey, look, if anybody deserves to have a shot, it needs to be me. Then we see Bobby Lashley come out, and you're going, oh, now this is interesting. This is very interesting. Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns. Oh, okay, let's see how this plays out. And I actually enjoyed the back and forth that was going on between Roman and Bobby Lashley. I loved hearing Roman call Bobby Lashley Bob, because anybody that's followed the career of Bobby Lashley, heard the numerous interviews, and interacted with those that are actually friends with Bobby Lashley, nobody calls him Bob. And so to hear Roman Reigns call Bobby Lashley Bob, it was just, all of a sudden I started thinking about that damn Dick commercial from back in the day. This is Bob. Bob was having problems until he got in contact with, what was it, Enzyme or whatever like that. And I'm just hearing the whistling in my fucking head and everything. So I hope WWE doesn't spoof that and use it on poor Bobby Lashley, because that would fucking suck. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting, though, that, you know, both of these guys were kind of playing off of each other a little bit. I'm going, okay, this is new. This is kind of fresh. You want to maybe give a rub off to, okay, let's see how this plays out. I'm not going to shit on it just yet, even though I said what I said passionately on the Money in the Bank after show with regards to Lashley, Zayn. Okay, let's see if maybe something can come about with Roman. Yeah. But here's where the stupid booking 101 comes into play here. So Roman talks about how he should get a title shot against Lesnar. He's still tripping over what had went down at the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, right? Right. Thus the problem. Kurt Angle afterwards says, well, Roman, you're going to get an opportunity as well, just as Lashley and others, because we're going to have this little tournament thing go down, and we're going to figure out who's going to be. And you're going, wait a minute, wait. At least I was saying, wait a minute. As soon as the greatest Royal Rumble event had concluded and you go into the night after, you go to Raw, the night after the greatest Royal Rumble, you had Roman Reigns come out there in storyline, moan, bitch, cry over how he got screwed, how he should be the Universal Champion. He deserves another opportunity to take on Lesnar. Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle. First, it was Kurt Angle that told him, I don't know how to break this to you, but Roman, I've been instructed that per the authority and what's best for business by the board, WWE board, yeah, man, no more opportunities. That's it. They want to be done with you. No more opportunities. And what did Roman say to Kurt? Roman said, and I quote, I get it, man. You've got responsibilities. You've got a family. I get it. There was even the same thing, if not that same episode, maybe a couple of weeks later, Stephanie McMahon got in Roman Reigns' face and was saying, hey, you're done. You're not getting any more opportunities. That's it. So here's where we have the problem, because your age core demographics for your audience, 18 to 44, maybe 18 to 50. So what? These 18 to 50-year-olds, what? Do they have dementia? Do they have a serious case of amnesia? Are they supposed to forget that it hasn't even been 3 months, let alone barely 2 months, that Roman was supposed to be done? I'm not telling you guys, I don't want to come on here and be like, hey, but this is the storyline that they put out for all of us to see on TV, that per the WWE board and the authority, Roman was done. He had received too many opportunities. That was it. He needed to be done. So how WWE needs to clean this up. They need to clean this up big time, because my challenge to them is, well, how do you justify him getting another opportunity, even though it was already said in storyline? That's it. How do you justify this? And I think at this point, the only way this can be justified, simple thing. All you have to do is have a segment go down. It could be backstage as far as I'm concerned, because Roman in the ring getting the boos, well, maybe it just depends on the city, right? But my point is, you definitely need to have a segment go down, particularly backstage, where Roman Reigns can maybe walk up to Kurt Angle and say, hey, thanks for giving me this opportunity, man, because I'm telling you, I should have had it at the greatest Royal Rumble. I'm going to win this little tournament, and I'm going to go all the way this time. And then you could easily have Kurt Angle say, well, Roman, I hope so, because I had talked to Stephanie McMahon over the weekend, and she had reminded me how at one point the board and her and Triple H, they had decided that that was it for you, but everybody decided to go back to the woodshed, go back to the drawing board and rethink this a little bit. And we want to present you with this opportunity. However, you need to know that win, lose, or draw, if you're not able to become a Universal Champion, if you're not able to take that title off of Brock Lesnar, if it is you that ends up winning this tournament, then Roman. So as long as Brock Lesnar is the Universal Champion, you get no more title shot opportunities. Maybe you could, but you got to somehow spin it. You've definitely got to spin it that way. So, also, you've got Braun. How's Braun gonna come into all of this? Like I said on the Money in the Bank after show, Braun's probably going to cash in at SummerSlam. I would not be surprised if Brock Lesnar is, I wish this is tricky because you hear about this tournament, but it's safe to say Brock Lesnar is not going to be defending the title at Extreme Rules. So you automatically got to jump right to SummerSlam. So unless Braun is going to cash in that briefcase at SummerSlam, make it a triple threat, Braun comes out that way. But then you also got to consider Roman could come away with the title as well, beating both of those guys. Oh my God, that would piss so many of you off. I already know. So a little bit of thinking right there. Also, anything else I want to get into from Raw this week? I think those were really the main things I wanted to sink my teeth into with regards to we got some breaking news. Oh, great. We've got some breaking news, guys. We've got the test results. Let's go ahead. Let's log in because for those of you that are just now joining the show here, so at the top, I was telling the listeners how I was having some serious health problems over the weekend with my knee. And long story short, we couldn't figure out if maybe it was a situation where, let's see here, we couldn't figure out if it was, is it in this inbox? We couldn't figure out if it was a situation where maybe my knee, let me see, hang on. Sorry, guys. Okay. No, anyway, yeah, so I was having some knee problems over the weekend and the pain was getting worse and worse. And me and the missus, we couldn't figure out if maybe it was a sprained knee or what, but it was really scary because we said, okay, well, based on the info, my diagnosis, at home diagnosis, we were saying, okay, it could either be a sprain, it could be related to the diabetes, or it could be a blood clot. Now, luckily, after seeing the doctor, it seemed like you just had a sprain. Take these drugs, you'll be all right. But while I was there, they also had me do some blood work. Yeah. And they said I wasn't expecting the results this damn fast. So let's see if maybe we can tell you guys before. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we got test results. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, so we got one. Let's see what this is. Looks like there's two things here. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Can I see a graph? Oh, okay, nice. Okay, so I get a cholesterol read here. Now they're trying to figure out what's going on with my diabetes, like if they need to take me off the medicine or whatever. And luckily, my woman is the medical expert. I'm gonna have to rely on her. This looks like jibber jabber to me, quite honestly. Let's see. I don't know if it's good or bad, guys. I honestly can't tell you. Well, let's try the next one. Let's see here. Let's try the next one here. I wish it could be more simpler. I wish they could give it to you in just plain English, like it's bad or it's good. Okay, A1C. Let's see what's going on with the A1C here. Okay, well, let's look at a graph. Let's see what we got here. Holy shit. Okay, if I'm reading this right, guys, it looks like it looks like it's safe to say my A1C is rather high. The way it's looking. Normal high, normal low. Okay. Yeah, the A1C doesn't look good, guys. So the way it's looking right now, haven't quite shaken off the diabetes just yet, which fucking sucks. I'm pretty sure I'm reading it right. I'll have my girl read it to me in the morning because she usually understands test results better than I do. She could just look at the numbers and she knows off the break. But I have a feeling my doctor is going to be calling me before the end of this week and is going to want me to come in and get some more work done. So fingers crossed, but well, hey, knock on wood. It could be a lot worse. So anyway, we were talking about Raw. I think we wrapped up pretty much. I think we wrapped up pretty much the key points from Raw this week. SmackDown. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, SmackDown. There was a tournament to determine who was going to face AJ Styles in less than 3 weeks at the Extreme Rules event. We saw it was basically like a gauntlet. Daniel Bryan had basically kicked it off. He had faced Samoa Joe, Miz, Big E. Him and Big E they began it, by the way. They began the gauntlet. Man, did they have some really good chemistry. Daniel Bryan and Big E. Really great fucking chemistry. Big E is really proving to me more and more that he is more than capable and more than ready of being a solo act. I'm just literally going, let's have it go down already. It's so fucking promising. Let's see it already. But look, I'm not gonna be rushing it. WWE can take their dare sweet time. After all, they're still getting a lot of merchandise money off of New Day. All right, so they can milk it for all it's worth. But I'm patiently waiting for this to happen, man. But Big E, Daniel Bryan tonight. If you guys did not watch SmackDown, do yourselves a favor, especially if you have NBC Universal, you know, or the what's the other one? Maybe Hulu as well. Go check out SmackDown. Check out the Big E Daniel Bryan match that began the Gauntlet series. Phenomenal. And then to see Daniel Bryan with Samoa Joe. Oh my gosh, shades of the ROH days. I was just literally glued to the TV watching that. Daniel Bryan just barely advancing from those two guys, but not before we had saw the Bludgeon Brothers. Bludgeon Brothers, whew, man, they gave Daniel Bryan the evil eye, and they looked at him like, we got something for you. We got something planned for you. And shortly after he went past Big E and he went past Samoa Joe, Bludgeon Brothers came up, beat the holy hell out of him. Miz came in, cross skull crushing finale, threw his ass out. It came down to Miz and Rusev. And just when you thought that maybe, just maybe, holy crap, Miz, AJ Styles, whoo, sign me up. It would be none other than Rusev. Rusev. Holy crap. Rusev, AJ Styles, less than 3 weeks at Extreme Rules. Now, some seeds were planted tonight that kind of gives you a little bit of an indication where things are probably going to be going with regards to Rusev and his boy Aiden English, because right when SmackDown was about to go off the air, we saw Aiden English and Rusev, you know, once it was revealed, you know, after Rusev wins and he's celebrating, AJ Styles comes on out, gets in the middle of the ring, lays the title on down, and extends his hand to Rusev. And Rusev shakes it, and you know, you can kind of read his lips a little bit. He's like, "It's an honor. It's really an honor. It's going to be awesome taking you on." And AJ's starting to back off, and then Aiden English comes in. He's looking for a handshake, and AJ's like, "The hell?" It's like, "I'm not facing you." He's kind of looking like, "I'm not facing you. I'm facing your man over here." But he tries to be a team sport, shake Aiden English's hand. Aiden English takes it right back, smiles at him, laughing at him, and AJ just decks him in the face, and SmackDown pretty much goes off that way. I'm just predicting 2 cents from a distance what's probably going to be happening leading up to this matchup. We're probably going to see Rusev try to get a little bit more serious about this opportunity, and or maybe Lana steps in and says, look, opportunities like this comes but so often, my love. You need to really be focused. You really need to. And you know, you just don't know when you're going to get something like this again. You got to make sure you go all in, no distractions whatsoever. The time for games and silliness is over. And I can just hear Rusev saying, well, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, look, not for nothing, but I know I told you a couple of months ago, you need to distance yourself from Aiden English. I think now more than ever, you need to do so. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have a segment. This is just how I would book it. You could have Aiden English overhear this, right? Maybe he's behind a wall or something like that. Maybe she comes in and sees Rusev in his private locker room, and it turns out Aiden was in there. He was just in the bathroom or whatever, right? And once they leave, he comes on out. Maybe he then confronts Lana and, hey, how can you say that about me? You know, I've done nothing but good, you know, for your man. You know, before I had came along, you know, look at where his career was. You know, I've done wonders for him, just as he's done wonders for me or whatever. Or he could spin it in such a way where he's like, Rusev just wouldn't be nothing without me. He did, didn't he? He looked so fucking, he looked like a new man out there, you know? It's like, you make me feel so young, you know? But the way I would book it, I would have that scenario kind of come about with Rusev, and Rusev could maybe overhear that and say, I was nothing before you came along. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Point being, I see some type of a situation come about, guys, where Aiden English fuckery in that Extreme Rules match, and then Aiden, Rusev, they're off doing their own little thing. And then with regards to AJ Styles, as far as what's going to happen with him next, I'll tell you, like, if you're thinking SummerSlam, can I make a bold prediction? I have no problem seeing this either. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. The hell who's going to win? SummerSlam, just give me those two names. I'm all in. I am all in. I mean, seriously. And I'm with Mish. Well, Mish, I mean, well, where else are you supposed to go? I mean, I love him as well, but I'm just thinking about it. It's like, okay, put it to you this way, right? And I want everybody to think about this. It would suck. I would agree. I agree tremendously. It would suck if you had Aiden English and Rusev break up, right? Because they complement each other so well. But you still have to address that elephant in the room from several weeks back, where Lana was kind of teasing it a little bit about, hey, you should break away from Aiden. Like, are we going to go WCW or like vintage TNA? And there was this story arc one week, but then we're looking for it the next week. And it's like, what happened? And then 3-4 weeks later, it's like, well, what happened? Where'd it go? I don't know, guys. I'm just telling you, I got a weird feeling Aiden English fuckery is gonna happen at Extreme Rules. I hope I'm wrong, because I do love both of those guys tremendously. I do, but we'll see. Knock on wood, we'll see. Mark, yeah, I hope we're both wrong. I don't like being right. I really don't. Let's see what else happened on SmackDown. Sanity, my God, I can't believe I almost forgot about those guys. Sanity fucking debuted tonight. Killian Dane, Eric Young. You guys got to help me out. Who was the third guy? Who's the third guy? This is what happens when you don't watch NXT like regularly, and you miss out on the names. You guys buy me some time, because I can't remember the third guy's name, but I know Eric Young, Killian Dane. those guys went in there tonight, and I mean, they went in there against the Usos. Usos pretty much had broke them in. I love me some Sanity. Now, I was able to see a big bulk of their stuff. Thank you, Mark. Alexander Wolf. I was able to see a big bulk of their stuff in NXT before they got the call up, and I love what I was seeing from them. They are, look, they can do some really great things on the main roster. So as long as Road Dogg and them are writing that shit just right. I mean, off the break, I can continue to see a really great feud with the Usos. I can see a damn good feud with New Day. I see a damn good feud with the Bludgeon Brothers. So, I mean, there's a lot of good potential matchups right there that would be very, very promising. Hell, I can take it a step further. If you want to do a future faction, I could even see the Bludgeon Brothers and Sanity Alliance. I mean, you talk about one interesting stable right there, since there are certain people still high on the Bludgeon Brothers. I thought for sure there was going to be a tag title change. Look, at least their gear has morphed into, it's no longer Kane attire. I'll give them that. They still aren't quite growing on me just yet. They just aren't. And I don't know what it is. I guess because I'm so just used to vintage Harper and Rowan. I'm going, what was wrong with those guys? Aside from Eric Rowan looking like Duke the Dumpster Brody, right? Or Drody. Aside from that, you know, I like that. Bludgeon Sanity. Yeah, that would be fucking badass. I would love to see those guys do some fucking awesome shit, though, man. They would do some awesome shit together. But yeah, Sanity, they had a really good debut. I was very pleased with them. Carmella basking in the glory of the fuckery that went down with help from James Ellsworth. Am I happy to see James Ellsworth back? I actually legitimately am. You know, he's actually from the DMV out here. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. So yeah, I'm always a sucker for talent from the DMV, born and raised from the DMV. So to the point, I'd love to try to get him on the show sometime. I would love to. He seems like he would be a Baltimore Ravens guy, but he seems like the type of guy that would probably know his football. I would love to talk to him and ask him all things DC sports and all that. It would be a very cool conversation I think I'd have with him, as opposed to your standard, you know, who would you like to face in the WWE next? You know, or some crap like that. But nah, man, it's great seeing him back. Honestly, I felt that him and Carmella complemented each other very well. And seeing him come out in the Asuka attire, he got me for the second time in a row, man. I thought tonight, oh, Asuka's coming out. She's not coming out pissed. She's doing her little dancing and all that. Okay. And then as soon as the lights went off, I was kind of like, wait a minute, them legs look a little bit too thick, kind of veiny looking. And it turns out it was James Ellsworth. I'm going, oh, Asuka beat the crap out of him, though. I love that little spot. That was a nice little spot that they had did. But Carmella coming to her man's aid, or rather her, you know what their relationship reminds me of? It reminds me of this bad porn I had saw a couple of months back. And I didn't even watch it fully. You know, some of us guys, we like a good bondage video from time to time, and we see a woman in leather boots and a whip or whatever. You're going, yeah, now that's the kinky shit. Now that's as far as I go. I'm not looking for no step on my balls, baby. I'm not looking, that's too much for me, right? But I do like a good, nice leather outfit. Nice. But then there was the video that I saw that was just, and when I think of Carmella and James Ellsworth, it reminds me of this clip I saw, which was, you had this woman, voluptuous, she almost kind of looked like April Hunter, wearing this nice bondage outfit. She has this whip. She has this chain. She has this poor white dude. It would be a white dude. Collar, chain. He's on all fours. She's making him bark, all that crap. This does nothing for me. I'm tolerating it because I'm looking at the voluptuous woman in the leather outfit. But I'm going, all right, let's get to the real good stuff. Come on. Not what I was expecting. As she takes him to the bathroom and she says, your mistress made you breakfast. And I'm going, wait a minute now. We're going into the bathroom. Where's this going exactly? Please don't let it be number 2 that's awaiting him in the toilet. No, it wasn't number 2. Apparently, what she had waiting for him, she opens the toilet lid seat and she goes, I made you breakfast. And he goes, mistress, I don't see the breakfast. And you're looking in the toilet bowl and the toilet bowl is clear. And we see the mistress, she grabs a box of Lucky Charms. She pours it down in the toilet. And then she grabs milk, pours it down the toilet, and she goes, here's your spoon. Now get to it. And my man actually ate the fucking cereal from the toilet. So when I look at James Ellsworth and I look at Carmella, it kind of seems like Carmella is the one with the ball and chain and the dog collar leash, and James Ellsworth is around it. You see how that analogy goes? I know you probably could have done with all of that sick visual stuff, but hey, I mean, I just, you know. Anyway, moving along. I can hear you guys now. Lee, you're into some sick that I didn't expect to see all that. I just thought I was going to be seeing a voluptuous woman in leather attire, and you know, you've been a good boy. Mommy's going to take care of you now. You can now have some cookies or whatever. But yeah, that was, you know, it is a bit awkward. Moving along. Let's switch it up. I don't need to talk about anything else from SmackDown for this week, do I? Because if not, I want to talk about my first impressions of the Hardys Woken documentary that was on WWE Network. It premiered over the weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch it because we were doing the Money in the Bank after show, and I watched it earlier tonight. I loved it. I loved it. I would highly encourage you guys, go check it out. Let me talk a little bit more about that in a second. Can I just put over something else with Bruce Pritchard? That's my guilty pleasure right now. I love the audio podcast, but to see them on the network, I mean, it's like it's almost an entire different experience, but it's not. It's almost like the same show, but kind of not. Can I just say that has been a great addition to the WWE network? A lot of you guys that have the WWE network and Mish, if you're still there, buddy, I'm curious, what do you make of the something else to wrestle with on the network? I love it because I'm gonna take it a step further, because I think we're gonna have some people that's gonna say they love it, but I don't think they're gonna really expand like I'm about to expand on it. I love that this is on the network because, let's be honest, Stone Cold Podcast, that was the shit. And then when they got rid of that, it was like, okay, we're fucked. And then you had Legends with JBL. And Legends with JBL, oh my God, the way JBL was conducting those interviews, I'm going, as well as everybody else is going, that JBL rules. Why can't we get that JBL on commentating? That's the JBL we need, not the, my God, look at that, man. Or look like bull there, man. Oh, damn. You know, like, no, let's get the Legends with JBL from the network. But then that got canned. And you're going, well, goddamn. You know, all we got left is Table for Three, which is great. But that's really it. That's all we got. Ain't no new breaking ground and all that. So to see something else with Bruce Pritchard to come along on the network, it's been a welcomed breath of fresh air. And I had told Conrad Thompson and Bruce, I said, you know, I'm going to be paying attention to this series on the network very closely, and I'll be giving a full review when I can. And now that I've had watched enough episodes, I think by now there's probably maybe only 2, maybe possibly 3 I haven't watched yet. That is until I get off the air, since I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna binge some more on the network. Again, the standout episodes, I would recommend anybody that hasn't watched them yet, go check out the Vince Russo episode. Really good. They debunked a lot of myths that Vince Russo had spread it out there over the years. But that was a good episode. The WWE ECW experiment, or I think they dubbed it WWE CW. I don't think there was 2 E's. I believe there was only 1 E in there. So they said WWE CW. That was a really good one. I actually watched that one twice. That's probably the most strongest. Conrad really ripped into Bruce Pritchard. I'm telling you, Conrad, you get him on the right topic, Conrad just lets Bruce have it. And I love how you had freaking Conrad. He kept saying to Bruce, oh yeah, but you bring a fucking vampire. He was like a fucking zombie. And Bruce is just trying to defend that first episode of ECW. He's like, yeah, but look who destroyed the zombie. Look who destroyed it. It was your beloved Sandman. And Conrad's like, yeah, but he didn't come in with the inner Sandman music. How fucking hard is it for you guys just to license that music? I mean, come on. It's like, and it was a fucking zombie. That needs to be a t-shirt. But that's a great series. That is a really great series. I know they're going to have one that's going to premiere this coming Wednesday. It's going to be on the Hardys. I can't wait for that one. That's how I started talking about this, is because they got the Hardys joint premiering, and then I saw Hardys Woken. So that's how this all connects. But if I could just offer one piece of advice to the WWE, in particular to the people that are in charge of the WWE network navigation design, the interface, what all is the first things that you see when you open up the network app and all that, I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, I think it's rather silly that when you have new shows like the WWE network, when you have new shows like the Hardys Woken special, or you have a new series and something else, I think it's silly that you have to search for those new episodes. Something else is a good example of that, because it's buried so deep that you wouldn't even know that, oh, this is new. You wouldn't even know unless you actually went in, you dug in, and you tried to actually navigate on the damn network. I think it would just make a lot more sense that when it comes to anything new that you're releasing, you can put 2 categories in there. One category, like as soon as you boot up the WWE Network app, I think it would be badass if they had like a little thumbnail that says playing now in June. And you could just click on that, and then for that respective month, you can see everything that's new right there. And then as you click on that, that will maybe take you into, if it's a one shot, whatever, it'll take you directly to whatever that series or that special is about, as opposed to just searching. Sometimes you can't help but look at some of the stuff, like in particular, when you go try to find something else, you see how buried it is. Now, some could make the argument, nah, just go into the search engine box and just type. You shouldn't have to do all that. It should like automatically be right there. It's basically no different than Netflix. Anytime you boot up Netflix, something new that is on Netflix, you get the recommendation to check it out. Or when you watch one thing, you get a section that says, you should watch this because we saw you recently watched this. So hopefully they change that. I mean, the network has come a long ways, but I tell you, when I see stuff like that, it's head scratching. Now, Hardys Woken. Great documentary. I mean, I did not learn anything new from watching it because I was very well aware of all the problems that the Hardy Boys were having. And remember when the show started, this show, when it started in 2011, we were pretty much fresh off of Matt Hardy having his problems. What was that, Victory Road? I mean, we were pretty much fresh off of that. And it was like, God damn, Jeff, I don't really look too good, brother. So I really did not learn anything new. I think if there was anything that really surprised me, what really surprised me was, wow, for WWE to go this unchained, to be this loose and letting the Hardys tell their story. And then let's really take that a step further. For all the footage that they were able to get of Matt and Jeff Hardy from their TNA days, right on up to when Matt had came up with the whole broken gimmick. Those things kind of took me back a bit. It's one thing if you get a still image here, or it's one thing if you get this little 5-second of a video clip, but there was infused during this special a lot of Impact Wrestling days, and you had a great who's who of people that let their thoughts be felt with regards to what was going on with Matt and Jeff Hardy. You had Christian, Edge, Big Show, Eric Bischoff, AJ Styles, Rebby Hardy, Shane Helms, Sting, Samoa Joe. All of these people chimed in, and I tell you, to see how both brothers were going through the problems that they were having, and everything really just basically started off with the Hardys, that style that we were so used to seeing of them growing up during the years, and physically putting their bodies out there on the line, right? I mean, they were treating every single match that they were doing almost like it was their first and maybe perhaps their last time. And when you have that type of a physical style and you keep putting your body through that type of torture over and over and over again, yeah, eventually you're going to come away more with aches and pains. And we saw early on that the brothers, they started taking up drinking. That drinking led into an abuse and prescription pills. And then it led to abuse and prescription pills to the point that Jeff was getting illegal drugs mailed to his home from other states or whatnot. And you had the whole drug bust ordeal that had went down. Matt Hardy struggles that he went through, everything just pretty much for him. What was it, like late 2011, where pretty much was the turning corner was Rebby Hardy picking up the phone, calling the cops, just basically saying, fuck this, enough is enough, had enough of this, I'm done. I don't know if at that point she was done with the relationship or just done as in, I'm tired of this man and these problems that he's having with drugs and all that. This guy needs serious help. And to just hear how Shane and Christian and Edge, how all of them, they just kept doing these interventions throughout the years. And probably what was most surprising for me was hearing how really bad it was for Matt Hardy. Matt being, and they actually showed this. And I mean, again, you got to commend WWE for this. They showed this joint where Matt Hardy, I think he was wearing a green shirt or whatever, and he's supposed to be cutting a promo. I mean, you could tell he's sitting down. Looks like he's comfortable, but he's sitting down. He's supposed to be cutting some type of a promo on his opponent or whatever. And he is just on alcohol and so much drugs. He just nods off right there. It was the most heartbreaking thing that you could see. You're going, my God, what the flying hell? Stuff like that. It just made you go, wow. And they took it right on up. For those of you that might be curious about, well, wait a minute now. Lee, Jeff Hardy, didn't he have some DUI problems a couple of months back? They made sure that shit was current. They even included what went down with Jeff a couple of months back in there. And I tell you, for WWE to be that ballsy, I was just amazed. I really was. I would so love to see this on DVD. I would really love to own this on DVD, but it's safe to say that the days of DVDs, like we remember them, there used to be a time where every single month you would have maybe 5, 6 things from WWE come out. I mean, there was always something every month that was coming out, but now it's just gotten to that point where DVDs are at an all-time low as far as sales profits go, and they're sparingly releasing stuff out on DVD. And it really sucks. It really does. But this is one I actually would love to see on DVD because I would actually go out and own this. I highly would recommend you guys go out of your way, check it out. For me, there were 2 people that I was a bit surprised that were not included in sharing their thoughts on what all had came about. Actually, 3 people. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe I might be making something out of nothing. Maybe they did try, but their schedules wouldn't permit it. Who knows? But I thought it was interesting that Devon, Bully Ray, they were not included in this because they knew what it was like working with the Hardys in the WWE. They also, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves correctly, they also faced the Hardy Boys in TNA a number of times. So, good, bad, and different for the Hardys to not have Devon and Bully Ray included. That one was kind of a little bit of a head scratcher because I actually was expecting them to say something just based on everybody else that I had mentioned so far. I was expecting them to show up. And then I think because of what's going on with Rebby, I can kind of understand it. But then at the same time, that is kind of delicate. But I must admit, I was a little bit surprised that they did not go to Lita. And I would imagine that they probably most likely went to Matt and Rebby first and was like, hey, we're thinking about maybe asking Lita, would you guys be okay with it? Or, I know all things are good between Matt and Lita now, because they moved on with their own respective relationships. But, we know how Rebby feels about Lita. So maybe it's actually good that, wasn't incorporated. Who knows? But other than that, great documentary. I definitely would recommend that you guys check that out. It's a really great documentary. All right. See how we're doing on Showtime here. Goddamn, time flies. Let's see. Do I have any other topics I want to get into here before we wrap it up for tonight? Anything else noteworthy I need to get into, guys, before we wrap it up for tonight? I'm just looking here. Bear with me a second. Sometimes I got to look at the notes here. Oh, yeah, I did want to talk about this. I'm actually glad we're still on the air here. Paige, she made headlines. I don't know how many of you guys had heard about this, but apparently Paige was a victim of, I guess you could call it, she was a victim of, what's the terminology you guys use? Is it body shaming, body shamming, or something like that? I don't follow the terminologies you guys like to use these days. I mean, honestly, I found out like maybe 2 months ago what the fuck triggered was because I kept seeing it floating around so much. I'm going, what the fuck is triggered? And then I had to finally have one of my younger friends hit me. And he was like, oh, come on, old man. You know what that means. I'm like, no, I don't know what that means. Why don't you tell me what that means? He's like, well, this is what it means. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of slick. So it's kind of like jelly. It's like, huh? And I had to hip him. I was like, you don't know what jelly means? He's like, no, what are you talking about? Well, you jelly. Like, no, what that mean? What, you want me to get some KY? I was like, no. I was like, and I had to hip him. So apparently, I believe it was after Money in the Bank was over. Paige was in a car. She was on the passenger side, and they basically were getting ready to drive out of the arena. And a fan had, Paige described this on her social media account, saying, I quote, to the fan that decided to pie face me through my car window and then tell me to lose some weight, Paige. You inspired me to keep being myself and eat whatever the fuck I want. Good luck with your karma. So again, she was leaving the Allstate Arena, and again, she was riding in the passenger seat when this incident had occurred. She had her window down. She was interacting with fans, giving them a high five, and this fan just came running up to her and just, I got to give Paige a lot of credit where credit is due, because ever since she broke away from Alberto El Patron, she has really been trying to clean her act up. She's really been trying to be more mature in the way that she handles herself. She's really been trying to grow the F up. And at the same time, still having her fun and everything. And she could have handled this much differently. I mean, the fact that somebody went up like that, she was within every right, if she wanted to, especially if she felt threatened or whatever. She was well within her right to assault this guy, but she did not go there. She could have easily had the car stop right there, and she could have just let him have it, curse him the fuck out or whatever. You know what? You're not a man in my book when you have the balls. And I don't say that as far as flattery. That's not a form of flattery. But to have the audacity to walk up to another woman and tell them they need to lose some fucking weight. I'm just curious, how does this guy look? What does he have the build of a Chris the Masterpiece Masters, right? Does he have a body like Ethan Carter the third? Does he have a body like Bobby Lashley? I seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt that. And if he does, he needs to be fucking wrestling. But for some fucking loser to say that to Paige, I just see some people and I hear about how some fans react to some of these guys. And I say to myself sometimes, and you wonder why majority of fans get a bad rep sometimes. You wonder why sometimes we're not able to access certain celebrities when we're able to see them and say, hey, big fan of your work. I don't know if ever I'll get another opportunity to shake your hand and tell you how much I appreciate your work, because here we are, two small peas in a pod, big world, but here we are at this same place, at this same time, at this juncture. That may never happen again. Man, it would mean so much if I could get your autograph or take a selfie with you. And because of experiences, possibly like with what this knucklehead had put out there, no, sorry, I don't have the time for you. I'm really sorry. I appreciate you being a fan. Sorry, no. Sorry, no. It just, I facepalm because it's like, come on, man, really? Grow the fuck up. I mean, this guy, grow the fuck up. I bet you this guy spends lonely fucking nights beating off by himself, ain't got no woman, ain't got nothing whatsoever. He wishes that he could be dating a woman like Paige, whether she's skinny or she's healthy. She's not fat in any type of way. She is healthy. She is not overweight whatsoever. I look at Paige, I say, hey, she's eating good. She's healthy. That's how she should look. She's filling out. She can't continue to have a 15-year-old body forever, guys. Okay? So it was like, come on. What a fucking loser. That really had just set me off when I had initially read that. I'm going, really? Shout out, by the way, AJ Styles gracing the front cover of WWE 2K19. This does not come out worldwide until October 9th. It'll be available on PS4, Xbox One, Windows PC. I keep getting asked all the time because the few times I do talk about games, oh, you're an Xbox guy. No, I like all video games. It's just with regards to the Xbox One, that's what I gravitated towards because I had got the Xbox, been with the Xbox since the first one came out. I used to get both of them back to back. I used to get the Xbox, then the PlayStation, then what was the Xbox 360, then I got the PS2, then I had got the PS3, and I didn't get the PS4. I'm just a gamer. I hate tagging people. It's like it shouldn't matter what console you have. You're just a fucking gamer. You're a gamer. That's all that matters. But we don't know nothing right now about this AJ Styles package that's out right now. You got an AJ Styles collector's edition of WWE 2K19, the collector's edition. Now, AJ's on the front cover of the video game, but there's a collector's edition that's going for about $130. We don't know what we get. Now, I'm hoping, you know, I'm hoping it's going to kind of be similar, like this bad boy here. I'm hoping it's going to be similar to this, you know, because this was really cool. This one you had got a John Cena action figure. You had got a John Cena signed photograph that came in a frame. Yeah, that was really badass. And it came with a piece of mat. You also had got a, let me look here. You also had got a super card. Now, that much I do remember. You had got a super card. Super card is going to be coming in the AJ Styles one as well. And if we learned anything from last year, we're making sure we cover the hell up out of that super card one because I accidentally had revealed the barcode. And when you know, motherfuckers was pausing the video and they were scanning the barcode and the barcode was invalid by the time I decided, I'll use it for myself. So I don't know what's going on with graphics. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing that's going on with this game yet. So hopefully, maybe before, if history has shown itself, usually by late July, going into August, we get the gameplay footage and we usually know more information about what all is going to be included in these collector edition joints. I pre-ordered mine though. I got mine on Amazon. If you now go to the PlayStation Store, Amazon, GameStop, you can now get it. But what really bums me the fuck out, guys, like I found out literally 2 days ago that Fallout 76, the armored edition, I have found out that and everything else had went on pre-sale, or not pre-sale, it went on pre-order last week, and I was pissed. I was pissed because I find the information out like 2 days ago, and I'm like, oh man, you get a helmet? You actually get the replica helmet of one of the T models? Oh, I got to pre-order that. Like, how much? It's like, oh, 200? Yeah, I could do that. But then sold out. I would imagine, and I read a Forbes magazine article online, and they basically said that as soon as the Fallout 76 pre-order went out, that ultimate package, it was sold out within minutes. I'm going, now there's a couple on eBay. Good luck with that, because eBay, they want you to pay $400 fucking dollars. So good luck with that, guys. So other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I want to get into. Real quickly, Ring of Honor. They were supposed to be bringing the action to Madison Square Garden in the very near future, but apparently, at least according to the Ring of Honor COO, I think his name is Joe Koff. You know what? Let me show him some respect, because I do want to give him some respect, and I want to give Ring of Honor fans respect. Ring of Honor owner, I think it's Joe. Yeah, I said it right. I did have it right. All right. See, sometimes my memory escapes me a little bit sometimes. Yeah, Joe Koff. Apparently, he revealed that he's been in talks with WWE, and apparently they're backing off now from performing at MSG. You're going, but that's not stopping AAA. AAA is supposed to be doing something before the year is out. So if you guys are still craving for variety, AAA, you got that coming your way very, very soon. But I'm very curious what arrangements, if any, was made between ROH and the WWE. Very curious about that. And other than that, quick heads up, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they've got a event that's going to be coming up. I want to tell you guys about that because I was looking at the card and I thought the card was pretty damn good. I'm going to share with you those two pieces of news, and then we're pretty much going to wrap it up for tonight. Yeah, it's the G1 28 card, the G1 Climax 28 cards that has been revealed. So the way it's looking up right now, it's going to be a tournament that's going to be going on. The winner will receive an opportunity to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight title at Wrestle Kingdom 13. G1 ends on August 12th. The winner does have to defend their title opportunity until next January. So winning the G1 doesn't necessarily guarantee a title shot. So here are some of the matchups going down right now. July 14th, Okada will take on Jay White. On July 15th, Kenny Omega will take on Naito. Hiroshi Tanahashi will take on Jay White on the 16th. Haruki Goto will take on Kenny Omega on July 19th. Okada versus Hangman Page, July 20th. Goto versus Tomohiro Ashi on July 21st. Apologies in advance if I butcher the hell out of these names. Togi Makabe will take on Okada on the 22nd. Sanada will take on Kota Ibushi on July 26th. Okada will face Yoshihashi on the 27th. Tomohiro Ashi will take on Kota Ibushi on July 28th. Michael Elgin will take on Okada July 30th. Goto will face Ibushi on August 1st. Okada will face Minoru Suzuki on August 2nd. Ishii will face Kenny Omega on August 4th. Okada will face Evil on August 5th. Naito will face Sanada on August 8th. Tanahashi will face Okada August 10th. Kenny Omega will take on Kota Ibushi August 11th. And then you'll have A block versus B block winners. That'll go down on August 12th. So pretty much it just depends on, who wins what and how they advance and all that. So that's going to be going down. And then also, I want to show some love to, there was another one I wanted to show some love to here. WWE, they had listed the matches that's going to be happening when they return to the Tokyo later this month in Japan. Check this out. Friday, June 29th, Sin Cara will face Cien Almas. Samoa Joe will face Ty Dillinger. Hideo Itami will face The Miz. Asuka and Naomi will face Billie Kay and Peyton Royce with Lana. New Day will face The Bar. Daniel Bryan, well, he's going to need a new opponent because it says here Big Cass. Usos will face Rusev and Aiden English, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the SmackDown Tag Team Bludgeon Brothers. Interesting. No DQ match. Nakamura will face AJ Styles. And then on Saturday, June 30th, Hideo Itami, well, he's going to need a new opponent because he was supposed to face Big Cass. Miz will face Sin Cara. Ty Dillinger will face Cien Almas. Becky Lynch and Naomi will face Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, again with Lana. Usos will face Rusev and Aiden English. New Day will face The Bar. Triple threat. New Day will face The Bar and Gallows and Anderson. And the Bludgeon Brothers. Wait a minute now. 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4. Yeah. So it's a 4-way. Asuka will face the SmackDown Women's Champion Carmella. Daniel Bryan will face Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ Styles. How would you like to be looking at that one? That should actually be pretty damn good. And congrats to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the success of Jumanji. It brought in almost $970 million in the box office since its release. They are working on a sequel to Jumanji right now. So shout out to him. Big pimping, making them big numbers. That's how you do it, man. And also, while we're talking about other wrestling promotions, I'm a sucker for women's wrestling. I got to give a big shout out to WOW, Women of Wrestling. They have struck a new deal with Access TV to film a new series. That series will not be premiering until, I believe, spring of 2019. You would like to believe that with everything that's happening with the women's evolution in WWE, not to mention you've got the resurgence of Glow on Netflix. You've also got great promotions like WSU running around, Shine Women's Wrestling, right? I would imagine with all of these great women's promotions that's running around and the success that Access TV has had with New Japan Pro Wrestling, this was kind of like a no-brainer. So congrats to the WOW Women of Wrestling promotion. They're going to get that new deal. It's inked out. They've got it with Access TV. And apparently the way it's looking, it's going to be a live wrestling event mixed in with, music. Somehow they're going to try to incorporate the two. I don't mean like entrances and all that. They're going to do something really cool the way it's looking right now. But yes, 2019 is when it's all going to be going down. So pretty ecstatic for that. I hope you guys are too, especially those of you that's looking for some really good variety in your wrestling promotions. And other than that, that's it. We did a deluxe show because honestly, it's episode 600. I wanted to give you guys a really good, nice, juicy episode you guys can sink your teeth into. It's not every day we go this long. And honestly, at the end of the day, man, look, I mean, we've been doing this since 2011. And at the end of the day, I do appreciate the many of you guys that take time out of your schedule. You welcome me into your minds. You welcome me into your ears, whether you're at work or, whatever. Maybe you got that newborn you're rocking in your arms or whatever. I always appreciate the love and support I get from you guys on a week-to-week basis. And honestly, I appreciate anybody that takes the time out to interact with my content. I don't care if it's just one person or 5 people or whatever. I always appreciate those that take the time out. It means a hell of a great deal. It really does. And we made some really good friends over the years. We made good friends with Anthony Missionary Thomas and Joey Numbers of Wrestling Soup. They've been, especially Mish, very kind to me over the years. Appreciate that love and support. And Epic Sports, that's my buddy. I love Epic Sports. I love the community over there at Epic Sports. Sometimes the Epic Sports family, they bust my balls. They bust my balls, rightfully so. And they always make me want to challenge myself to try to do better, always try to improve. So I love the good community over there at Epic Sports. And they are, Epic Sports, love them. Good guys, man. Good guys. It's hard to believe that if you'd have told me in 2011 that come 2018 I would still be doing this, I would say that doesn't sound like me. I sound like one of those type of people that would just usually try something for a couple of months and then I move on to something else. And here I am, I'm still doing this. And if you ask me why am I still doing this, I still have fun. I think that's it at the end of the day. There's many weeks, don't get me wrong, where sometimes it feels a little bit redundant. Sometimes I get a little bit burned out, but I don't know how I do it. I think the fact that I'm live, it gives me new energy. however I'm feeling. I could be having a shitty ass day, and just knowing that there's some of you guys that's like, can't wait to see what Lee's gonna say this week, man. Because oh man, he's gonna, he's gonna really bring it. You guys give me life, and I feed off of that, and I'm wired for the rest of the night. Usually, I got to take some melatonin to mellow the fuck down. But I love it. I still have fun doing this. And if you ask me what's the next phase with the RCWR show, you kind of gotten a little taste of it. I mean, the past couple of years now, we've taken the show on the road. We've covered some really cool events, and I'm just itching more and more to just keep going out to more and more events. But it's a little tricky right now because I finally worked up the nerve to propose to my girl. We're gonna tie the knot. The way it's looking right now, she wants to. I told her, I said, whatever makes you happy, honey. She wants to get married in Tennessee. I said, well, why Tennessee? She said, well, for what I'm looking at, it's extremely pretty. It's like a fairy tale dream, where we can get married, and it's inexpensive. I'm like, how inexpensive? She's like, put it to you this way, a little less than the Jericho cruise. I'm like, well, I'm listening. So it's tricky right now. I mean, you have no idea. There's like so much stuff I want to do, but you know, uh, I'm taking it one step at a time. So we got the CM Punk thing happening in Chicago. I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of stuff I'll be filming on my trip in Chicago. That's going to be good. But stuff like that, being able to take the show more on the road, maybe eventually go on to wrestling events, talking to some of the talent, stuff like that. Um, I'm still working on my anxiety when it comes to being around large crowds of people. Like I said earlier, if I have something to focus on, I'm good. So like if I'm with friends, if I'm talking to, I'm good. But if it's just me, then it's kind of, you're not going to get this version of me. I'm going to be very, but if I know you and, I have something to focus on, I'm actually pretty damn good. Um, so I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better, but yeah, man. There's a lot of cool stuff I see planned, but to have 600 episodes in the book, and also while I'm giving this time out of recognizing people, I also got to take the time out to recognize those that have been very kind and coming on board to the show, man. There's been a really nice amount of cool guests that were like, yeah, I'll do your show. And honestly, if you ask me what has been my favorite so far, there's two that come into mind, and it's not wrestling related. The first one, Eddie Trunk. I love Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk is like the encyclopedia of hard rock and heavy metal. That man knows so much stuff, and I was so heartbroken when that metal show was taken off the air on VH1 Classics because they decided they wanted to go into a whole new other direction, and it pissed me off. But it was awesome being in a position where I was able to speak to Eddie when the show was still active. That was great. And that was a highlight for me. And just being able to tell Eddie Trunk, hey man, because of you, it took some time, but eventually I was able to go to my very first concert. And it kind of came courtesy of you because of an interview that you did with Robert Plant. Robert Plant is I love Robert Plant. Love Robert Plant. So Eddie Trunk, that's like still for me personally, as far as you would think I would go with a wrestler, but no, Eddie Trunk is my first one. My second one, because I love the positive message that it sends, and just having the opportunity to talk directly with him and then seeing him in person and how he was interacting with those that were looking for photo ops, or when he was sitting down doing autographs, how he would just personally go out of his way, spend several minutes talking to every single body that came to meet him. Cress Williams, star of the CW series Black Lightning. That was, if there was ever a guest I was giddy, Cress Williams made me fucking giddy. I felt like a little kid because it really meant a lot to me that, wow, we were able to get this guy on the show because I love his fucking show. I love the message that it puts out there. I love the writing. I love the acting. It is such a really strong series. I found myself in a position where for the very first time throughout this show's history, this is something I really passionately love. And man, you guys got to watch this. And so it was great having him on the show. Those two were my most favorite guests of all time, I would have to say. I'm thinking if maybe there was a third one that I had really enjoyed. Honestly, if I were to put a third one in there, ooh, well, God. Some would say, well, what about Jeff Jarrett? No, not Jeff Jarrett. Some would even say, well, what about Shawn Michaels? You grew up on Shawn. No, not Shawn Michaels. Um, uh, damn, that's a good question. You know what? It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up, but one's leaning more than the other. It's between Kendra Luss. God, she is fucking gorgeous, and she has my girl won't be watching this stream, so I can say this. That girl, Kendra Luss, has ass for days. If she had a line and you could just bury your face in her ass, sign me the fuck up. My God, that girl's got an ass. If I were to ever do a bachelor party, I would be honored if I could have Kendra Luss as my stripper. Goddamn. And then Nina Hartley. Nina Hartley was another one that. And Nina Hartley, we had a philosophical conversation when we did do our thing. It was more philosophical. We talked a little sex, but it was very philosophical what we had going on. Bruno, you know what? Yeah, I would agree with Mark. And yeah, Mish, yeah. Nina and Kendra, man. Kendra has an ass for days, man. I'm telling you. You know what, Mark? I would have to put Bruno on that list, and then I would have to cut it off. Bruno for very sentimental reasons. Bruno because Bruno was the first guest that, thanks to Sal, and I laid it out for Sal, his agent. I said, this is what we're about. These are our numbers. I was as honest as humanly possible. And I sent Sal all the audio stuff, and Sal gave me the time and day. Not once did Sal or Bruno talk money. They were happy to do the show. Sal was on board. He was like, Lee, I'm gonna get you on the phone with Bruno and y'all talk it out. And I told Mr. Bruno what my show was about and everything. And he was like, yeah, Lee, yeah, Mr. Lee, we'll go ahead. We'll do it. Let's do the show. And so Bruno was awesome. And then just to know, I kind of had a friend in Bruno, because long after we did the show, periodically over the years, I would email Sal and I would say, hey, Sal, how's Mr. Bruno doing? Sal would always say, well, Lee, you have his number. Give him a call. And I would call Mr. Bruno a couple of times. He didn't pick up, I think because he didn't recognize the phone number. So I would leave a voicemail message. And I never heard back from Mr. Bruno. And then after so many attempts, it was kind of like, well, whatever. But no, every time I would hit up Sal, it was, well, you got his number, Lee. Give him a call. I'm sure he wouldn't mind hearing from. He'd love to hear from you. He was one that I wanted back on the show. I did. If I were to tell you there probably over the years, 5 times I wanted Bruno back on the show, because I was going, oh my God, Bruno would be great to talk to about this. Oh man, I'd love to get Bruno for this one, yeah. So that's my cutoff list though. No other guests in that order. Isn't that fucked up? Bruno's last. Bruno doesn't surpass The porn stars. Isn't that fucked up? I'm mean, ain't I? That's going to do it, though. Your next edition of the RCWR show. I'm coming at you guys not as long and lengthy again. This was a one-time deal for episode 600. I'm coming at you guys live on Tuesday, June the 26th. I'll come on as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. For you Patreon members, tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be a new Wrestling with the Topics with me and the missus. We know we haven't done one for you guys in a couple of weeks. There's been other content we've been giving you all, but no new Wrestling with the Topics. It ain't my fault. I told Tammy, I said, the way I want to do this show, the way the show's intended, it's for both of us. The show logo has both of our faces in it. You guys got to see the new logo, by the way. The new logo kicks ass. I'm like, I can't do the show solo. You're part of the show. I can't have you, if you're not doing it, I can't do the show. So her schedule's been just, so she's finally free. We're going to actually record in the morning, and then we'll put it up on Patreon for you guys. And that's going to do it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the RCWR show. For you Wrestling Soup fans, you could catch me in the Mixler chat this Thursday. I'm free. Ain't no playoffs planned. By the way, can I say this? Can I just say this one thing, and then I'm going to be done? Ted Leonsi, fuck you. Fuck you. Let me see if I got this straight. You can't give Barry Trotz his bonus money for taking the Capitals to the Stanley Cup and winning the whole goddamn thing. What in what world does this make sense? Somebody explain this to me. You come to me and say you want more money. I say to you, you want more money, you need to take my team to the playoffs, and you need to win. And you need to win. Then you'll get your bonus money. You want to talk new contract? You want to talk more money? Win this first, then you'll get it. Okay, so he does it, and then they basically like rescind it and try to give him a lowball number. I blame only one person. I blame the people that are the owners of the Washington Capitals. They could have kept Barry Trotz. That's all I'm saying. Short, sweet, simple. That's it. Next edition coming at you guys next Tuesday. Follow me on social media. Like I said, you Wrestling Soup fans, I'll be in the chat, kicking on back, listening to my boy Mission them throw it down, because they're going to be bringing that fire, and I'm looking forward to it. Until next go round, everybody, thank you all in the chat. Thank you all for the comments. Everybody that showed up. Shout out to Mish. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to DJ. DJ. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Jaggy. Let's see who else. Shout out to Watch Guru. Shout out to Joker. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to somebody else here I'm missing here. Shout out to Dean of Extreme. Shout out to all you guys. Wishing all y'all be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Please be safe. Be kind to one another. Very good night. Good morning. Adios.